Let him not vow to walk in the dark who has not seen the nightfall. That is a quote from Elrond Half-Elven, and you are watching a Glass Cannon presentation of A Walk in the Dark, an adventure for the One Ring. The company that creates the game is Free League. This is a fantastic game set in the land of Middle-earth, the legendarium of the Lord of the Rings. Alicia is holding it up right now. We are going to play a game. Oh, and Jason's got it too. We're going to play a game of the One Ring, and we are going to do so using their new expansion, Moria, through the Doors of Durin. The new expansion will be available at Gen Con this year. And it's available now at freeleaguepublishing.com. A link will be included in the description. And before you buy Moria, be sure to buy The One Ring, the core game. It's a fantastic game, a beautiful book. It's the game I play at home right now with my friends, and it's just incredibly, really fun. Today, I have an incredibly fun cast, some of whom I have never GM'd or, in the case of The One Ring, lore mastered for before. I am the lore master, Jared Logan, and with me, I have Harli, Kane, Jason Charles Miller, Alicia Marie, and Skitch Maher.
That's right. Woohoo! Someone finally got my name right. I'm so
it's pronounced Skitch Maher. Some people say Skidmar. That's also acceptable, right? Skitch.
You know, I just let it pass at this point. It's just so many people. They think that's my name. So it's just, why bother correcting? You know.
Absolutely. Well, listen, this is part of our Gen Con extravaganza here at theglasscannon.com. And before we get into today's game of the One Ring, just want to let people know that there is a playthrough of Dragonbane up next. And tomorrow you can see Deathmatch Island Part 2, which I'll be GMing. A Life Well Lived, it's kind of a character creation tool set that I'll also be GMing. And then we're going to have interviews with Marvel, Chaosium, and Renegade Games. All of that coming up. Stay tuned to the Glass Cannon Network. Don't change the channel. Never. What network? It's the Glass Cannon Network. It's right beside ABC. Right. It's between ABC and NBC.
Yeah.
And this is prime time
on
sweep
Spectrum,
week.
yeah.
Gen Con is the sweeps week of the Glass Cannon. Hopefully those Nielsen boxes record some high ratings. Guys, welcome to Middle-earth. Welcome to Eriador, the northwestern part of Middle-earth, and welcome to the One Ring. So I'm going to do a little bit of a rundown on how the One Ring works in terms of rules, and then we're going to get right into the adventure. The One Ring is an incredibly simple game to play, but it gets more complex as you get into the meat of it, okay? So the first thing you need to know is that on your character sheet, you have 3 attributes. They are strength, heart, and wits. And each of those has a target number. That's the big number under strength, hearts, and wits. And then beneath those target numbers, you have all kinds of little skills like battle and song and athletics and riddle and travel. All different little skills, and those are marked with dots, just dots that show you like if you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. in them. So the way the game is played is each time you use one of those skills to accomplish something in the game, you roll a number of 6-sided die equal to the dots you have in the skill. You also roll a 12-sided die, always roll a 12-sided die, which we call the feat die. And then you add together your 12-sided die and what came up for your 6-sided dice, and you see if you beat your target number. And the skills that are beneath the target number, that's the target number you use, right? So for example, if you're using the awe skill to intimidate someone, that's below strength. So you would roll the number of dots you have for awe in 6-sided dice, and you'd roll a 12-sided die, and you add it all together and see if you beat your strength score. That is the basic mechanic, okay? Now, it gets a little more complicated. If you roll 6s on your D6s, those are special. That means extra special, extra stuff happens. If it's just a skill roll, you can just say, hey, can I have this extra thing happen for me? Or maybe I'll suggest something. Some kind of extra bonus level of success happens. If we're using combat rules, then there are very specific things you can do with those results of 6. And we'll get into combat a little later. We won't. In fact, in the One Ring, it is not assumed that you will engage in combat the way it is in, say, Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons, okay? In fact, in some areas of Eriador and Middle-earth, it might be a very bad idea to get into combat. Moria. Okay. So anytime we roll a 6, that's good. We like that. That gives us extra levels of success. Now, on the D12, otherwise known as the feat die, if you roll a 12, that is the sign of Gandalf. And if you have the special proprietary dice that Jason and I have, it actually comes up as a little rune of Gandalf to let you know. The G rune. Yeah. And that lets you know that you have crit, basically. You auto-succeed no matter what the other dice come up. You auto-succeed and something great happens for you, probably. But there's another side to the feat die, to the D12, and that is the Eye of Mordor. The Eye of Mordor. There it is. The Eye of Mordor, if that comes up, and on a regular D12, that's an 11. Anytime the Eye of Mordor comes up, that means it's equal to 0. And so your feat die is giving you no points to try to hit that target number, which means you'll usually fail. Okay? So remember, you can't roll an 11 in this game. If you roll an 11, you've rolled the Eye of Mordor, and it is now a 0. Okay?
Wow.
That's right.
I know. Harsh. Now, let's talk about some other resources you have. You have a to the right side of your character sheet, a number called your hope rating. Okay? Hope is your level of determination, focus, drive, optimism that will get you through this dark and twisting adventure. Hope can be spent. You have a maximum hope rating that stays the same, but you can spend points of hope. Each time you spend a point of hope, you gain an extra D6 on a roll. Okay?
Okay. All right.
But there's another side of that, which is there is shadow points that can be accumulated. And I'll let you know how shadow rolls work if they come up. But basically, sorcery, greed, dread powers, and scary things in the dark can make your shadow points go up. And if your shadow ever goes above your hope, you become miserable. And that means if you roll an Eye of Sauron, then it's not that you get a 0, it's that you auto fail. Okay? Once your shadow's higher than your hope, if you roll an Eye of Sauron, you auto fail. Okay? You also have some points called endurance. They're kind of like your HP in other games. All right? Mm-hmm. Your HP, your endurance, can never go below your load. You have all of your equipment added up to a certain amount of load. If you're playing a dwarf, one of your special abilities is that things count as less load for you, because that's important. If your endurance ever goes below your load, you become weary. And that means that a 1, 2, or 3 on, I believe, the feat die equals 0. Okay? So you don't want to become weary, and you don't want to become miserable. So weary is if your endurance is less than your load, and miserable is if your shadow is greater than your hope. All right? And please let me know if your shadow ever equals your maximum hope, because then things get really scary and weird and terrible. But that may not come up in today's adventure. All right, that is a basic... Oh, I can tell you one other thing, which is your character has distinctive features at the top of their sheet. Okay? Distinctive features describe your personality. For example, Harli's character, Poppy Pickthorn, is cunning and inquisitive. If you think that your personality trait, your distinctive feature, would apply to a roll you're making, then you become inspired on that roll. That means you can spend a point of hope to get 2 dice instead of 1. Okay?
Oh, cool.
That's how distinctive features work. At any time, we're sort of demoing this game for everybody. So at any time, if you guys have questions, you want me to repeat something I just said, there are no stupid questions in Middle-earth. Mary and Pippin certainly asked many stupid questions. So let's follow the example of Mary and Pippin and ask as many stupid questions as we need to. There are no stupid questions, okay?
They drove their lore master insane, too.
They drove their lore master, Gandalf, completely insane, you fool of a took.
Throw yourself in next time.
Yes, exactly. So, if everybody feels like they're ready, we can kind of get into the adventure.
Yes.
Okay.
And thank you for walking us through that. I had vastly overestimated my memory of how this game works.
Oh,
Thank
absolutely.
you for walking us through, Jared.
Oh, no problem. By the way, I have some post-nasal drip, which you never see in the Lord of the Rings books, but I'm bringing the reality of our world to the stream today. So if you see me blowing my nose, that's what's going on. Okay.
Good.
So the year is 2965, and we are in Eriador. 2965, for those Lord of the Rings fanatics out there, is about 20 years after the events of The Hobbit, the quest for Erebor, where the Lonely Mountain was retaken from Smaug the Dragon. And it's about 50 or so years before the events of the Lord of the Rings in 3019 of the Third Age. And your characters find yourselves in Tharbad. Tharbad is a city in the southeastern area of Eriador. It is a city that is not prominently featured in the novels, but it is fully detailed in the Free League supplement for the One Ring, Ruins of the Lost Realm. It is a city that has fallen on very hard times. Long ago, it was ruled by noble souls who were the heirs of the men of the West. But today, it is ruled by a brutal chieftain. A group of mercenaries took over the city long ago and have ruled it ever since then. It also, in some of the cataclysms of the past that we don't need to get into detail with, it flooded, and so much of its old grandeur was torn away, corroded by the floods that overtook it hundreds of years ago. So Tharbad is a sort of a ruined city with worn stone and lichen growing on the bridges that cross over the waters that run through it. There's a lot of mud and dirt and young thugs prowling the streets, young thugs who serve as guardsmen or the law here in Tharbad. And your company has been called to a place in the market. There is a stall there, a shop, and that shop has Dwarven runes carved on the outside of it. For this is a Dwarven shop. Dwarves, of course, here in Eriador are known for their great craftsmanship, so it is natural that dwarves may own a shop in a center as large as Tharbad with this many customers about to sell their wares. But you are not here to buy or sell wares. You have been brought here by your patron. In the One Ring role-playing game, your company has a patron, and that patron adds to your fellowship rating. One more thing I need to mention is your fellowship rating. You'll see that to the far right side of your character sheet. That is a pool that you all share, and you can spend a point of it, and then it goes away from all of you. Like if Jason's character spends a point, it goes from 6 to 5 for everyone, and that helps you regain a point of hope. And in fact, Harli's character actually added to it as well. Your patron added to it, and then Harli's character added to it as well, equaling a final fellowship rating of 6. You have 6 points to spend to regain hope. But your patron, who has called you here, who sits at a small wooden table in the humble confines of this market stall, is Balin, son of Fundin. A dwarf.
Wow, he's famous.
He is famous, famed for his role in the quest for Erebor. He was one of the dwarves who retook the Lonely Mountain along with Bilbo Baggins. And he sits here with a long white beard, and he has a prominent nose. And for a dwarf, he looks a bit aged. He looks like he exudes wisdom and forbearance. He wears humble clothes with just a touch here or there that let you know that he is a dwarf of some rank and status. Perhaps a brooch that holds his cloak on, or a fine belt buckle crafted in the manner of the dwarves with a sigil of the Lonely Mountain on it. And he sits before you and he says, welcome. Come in. Thank you. I have called you together. This is a gathering of great urgency. A woman of Bree, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for answering my summons. And he points to Harli's character, Poppy.
So Poppy is kind of fangirling right now. Poppy's just like...
Oh, okay.
This is really cool. Can I get your signature right here? I've got a notebook. Can I get your signature really quickly?
I'm afraid we don't have much time for this kind of... Yes, very well. And he signs
Yes.
in dwarvish runes his name, Balin, son of Fundin.
Yes.
And then he looks to the hobbit of the company and says, all the way from the Shire. I knew I could count on you.
Well, we Underhills are known for travel, so I was most excited when I received your summons. I am Sadok Underhill from Crick Hollow. He bows low.
Yes. Long have you protected the Shire in your calling as a warden, but now I ask you to go farther afield, to take up the mantle of the Underhills and travel far to a place few hobbits of the Shire have been before. Are you up to the task, my friend?
I am. I know I am one of the few hobbits who deal directly with the Rangers of the North, and I know that they are protecting the Shire from afar. So even though my duties as a warden would be there to help them, I am confident that they will protect it until my return.
You can be comforted by that. Yes, they will watch the Shire while you undertake a quest of some importance and peril. But of course, my kinsmen are here. In some cases, distant kinsmen. Yes, I see Oda of Harmelt is here. Oda, thank you.
You hear the shimmering, mail. She steps from behind everyone else, and she says, "Now, Balin, you know it's been a while, but you know my name is not Oda. It's Oda. You say it like there are 3 O's in front of it. If you're going to say it correctly.
It seems
Oda.
unlikely that a dwarf of Balin's stature would get a dwarven name incorrect, but very well.
Yet somehow it has happened.
Yes, somehow I misspoke, probably because I had a bit of meat in my mouth. I'm having my breakfast right now. Oda of Harmelt.
Yes.
You already know the task I'm about to set before you. You're aware of the stakes and the peril at work here. And I'll explain to everyone in a moment why Oda had to come on this quest. And as a dwarven woman, may I say, your whiskers are looking fine and silky today.
I did trim them, so hopefully I'm up to task today. It's been a while, and you notice that Oda reaches up and pats her hair, which is set in this blonde short roller set. No, she doesn't have rollers in her hair. It's a roller set.
It's a sort of a Germanic sort of, maybe a bit of a Princess Leia thing.
Yes, it's and you know what? Appropriately today, I have Golden Girls dice. What?
Oh, wow. Where did you get those?
It's literally goes, so it's appropriate with the roller set.
Well, thank you for being a friend, Oda. And then finally, and here I have the captain of our company. I can trust him to lead you all to success in this endeavor. Hanar, son of Onar. Welcome, my friend.
Right, I think like Poppy, Hanar is also, he is of the same sort of clan that Balin is. And so this is like Baleen, like all these dwarves, like they're superheroes. They're also like incredibly rich at this point. They're super wealthy. And so he is just kind of blown away by the honor of this like assignment. He says, all right, anything for the advancement of our peoples? The Dwarves of Durin's folk.
I'm asking you to save one of our people. A dwarf whose loss would be a great blow to Durin's folk. Ona knows of Hjolin from the halls of Harmelt, a dwarven lore master of some repute. One of your kin, Yona.
Oh.
Well, to get to the point, I'm afraid that Hjolin of Harmelt has been taken hostage and must be rescued. The chief of this city, a lowly mercenary captain, has a son who is a brute and a rogue. His name is Tharnau, son of Gurnau. And I know that he has taken Hjolin of the halls of Harmelt hostage and taken him with him on some foolish errand to the east. I suspect what that errand might be, and I fear for them all. In fact, I fear for the entire region, should they undergo what I think they're planning to.
What do
So
you
we
think
are to
they're
bring
planning
back-
to do?
Ooh.
What do you think they're planning to do?
Hjolin, as I said, is a lore master of Harmelt. He's wise in the secrets of dwarven ways, in the legendary and lore. I fear they might be mad enough to take him into Khazad-dûm.
What?
Yes. What? Tharnau, son of Gurnau, and his men. They know nothing of the lore and legendary of the dwarves. They would need a guide. Someone to take them through the dark to where they think treasure and riches might lay. And that's why they've kidnapped Hjolin and taken him as a sort of key to Khazad-dûm. But I can tell you, if they disturb that nest of orcs and goblins, it will mean certain death for all of them. For once the doors of Khazad-dûm are opened, we can't be certain what might crawl out.
I was afraid something like this might happen. I don't know why, but I was afraid.
Yes. So I ask you to rescue Hjolin of Harmelt and bring him back to Tharbad, where we can then make a petition to Tharnau's father, Gurnau, the captain of the Haven, and we can put this matter to rest. I've gathered some equipment and supplies for you, but I am here to answer any questions you might have. Although our task is of some urgency, they left a day ago and we must catch up to them. Yes, Sadok.
Oh, out of character, I just want to say I realized like 30 minutes before we were playing that I'm the only one with a dwarf beard and I'm playing a hobbit.
Yeah.
So
That might get kind of confusing.
Yeah.
That might keep kind of confusing. However, when you transformed in your hobbit character a minute, I was getting strong hobbit vibes. So
Awesome.
I think that you're in a good place. You're in a good place.
Yeah.
Does any of the characters have a question for our friend Balin before they set off?
I'm ready to go.
How did you hear of this? What did his father tell you about this?
No, I have scouts and allies within the city of Tharbad. They saw Hjolin leaving with a company of Tharnau's men. Tharnau at the lead, arrayed in armor, and at least 4 of his men with him, two on either side of Hjolin. I know that Hjolin is no friend of theirs. He is no ally of the captain of the Haven or his brutish sons. I believe that he's been taken by force.
Well, there's no time to lose in that case. And are they a horse? Do you know that much?
I believe they have a horse to carry supplies and to carry the dwarf with them, but other than that, they go on foot.
Right, and which manner of egress from the city did they take?
They headed eastward, into the hills of Holland.
Right, well, I'm satisfied. Anyone else?
I don't think we should waste any time.
No.
You did say, though, that you had supplies?
Yes. Yes. I have provided food and water that will take you through your journey. In fact, there is so much of it that we need never bring it up again.
Noted.
Absolutely no reason to count the amount of food and water on this journey.
That is so generous of you, really.
However, it will equal 4 load that you can divide among each of you, adding 1 load to your load each. In addition to the food and water, I have provided 10 torches. Should you, Durin forbid, have to actually enter Khazad-dûm.
Oh, no.
Not that dark place.
The Black Pit. Yes.
I've never been this far south before, and I was wondering, are there direct routes to the doors of Khazad-dûm from here? If I looked on a simple map, and I do love maps, it doesn't look as if there are any roads directly there.
No, you'll have to travel over country. It will be hard going, but once you arrive, there is a camp at the base of the mountain where dwarves, foolish dwarves, have been making incursions into Khazad-dûm or the surrounding area occasionally. There you will be able to rest before your final foray into Khazad-dûm. Should you need to go there, which I hope you will not.
But we have 10 torches, though.
You have 10 torches, and I offer you one other.
Torches.
I offer you one other aid in your journey. Should you have to go into the dark, I offer you this. And he raises a bronze lantern on a chain. It is of dwarven make, an oddly egg-shaped, beautiful, ergonomic craftsmanship, and it glows with a faint blue light. The Unquenchable Lantern. The Unquenchable Lantern cannot be put out by wind nor water. It is protected by dwarven cunning and artifice, and it will aid you when you are on a dark path. I am going to give the Unquenchable Lantern to your captain and leader, Hanar. Hanar, take this lantern, and know that as a marvelous artifact, it grants you +2 dice to scan rolls.
Oh, that's great.
And
Excellent.
that you can achieve a magical success when using it. Meaning, not only can you make a regular scan skill roll with +2 dice, but sometimes you can see things that any mortal eye would not be able to see if you're successful.
Cool.
Is that
It is cool!
It is very cool.
Yes.
It's as cool as an object as our people have ever forged.
Is that a relic of the First Age? Forged in Nogrod, perhaps?
It is.
Good question.
It is.
Incredible.
You are wise in the ways of Durin's folk, Sadok. That is why I've
Check
asked
out
you
the
here.
big brain on Sadok.
Yes.
That's impressive. For a halfling.
You are
Well-
a dwarf friend, indeed.
There are many books of lore in the Shire that people are not aware of, and all they have to do is open them and start to read.
Yes. Well, your knowledge of lore will be important on this journey. Should you not overtake Tharnau and his men before the Doors of Durin, then you will need all of your wisdom inside Khazad-dûm.
Let us hope we never have to enter there.
No.
Yes.
For our
Surely
wisdom.
it will not happen.
No.
Any expedition
Only
into
a fool.
Khazad-dûm would be foolhardy.
Only an
Reckless.
immense fool would ever attempt such folly in their lives to lead
Yes.
an expedition into Moria itself. I mean, can you imagine you yourself, Balin, ever doing that in your wildest dreams?
I would never, my friend.
Never.
Although my heart longs
not
to
even if it
retake.
took 20 years from now.
My heart is full of sorrow and yearns to retake the halls of our forefathers, but it cannot be. Not even 20
Never.
years hence would I ever try something. And so,
Well,
yes,
yes, we've taken enough of your time, Brother Balin. Might I trouble you for a small loan before we leave?
yes.
You're asking for
Although
money.
treasure in this game
Yes.
acts as partly load, would you like to take on more load because you need money? Or are you going to spend
Yes,
it before you leave Tharbad?
I just know you can't take it with you, Balin. And I'd like a lot of gold, as much as you could spare.
Very well. If you think it will help you on your journey, here is 1 treasure point, which is worth 1 point of load.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. And as we're leaving, I says, I can't believe that worked.
All right.
Gave me treasure.
The journey through the hills of Holland takes 2 weeks. You track Tharnau and his men along the old elven route from Holland, through a country of red stone. Eventually you come to the Cyrenon, the gate stream that rises up into the mountains. There at the base of the stair falls, you find a dwarven camp where you have a prolonged rest that heals all the fatigue from your journey here over the last 2 weeks. So all of your character sheets, different totals are at full.
Okay.
You climb up the winding path and realize, with some shock, fear, and sorrow, that it appears, according to the tracking you have done, that Tharnau and his men have indeed entered Moria.
Oh,
You find yourself in a sheltered valley with a cliff face to the north and the Cyrenon running through the center of it. You have arrived. But where is the entryway? You're going to have to figure that out.
Okay.
what do we see? What do we see?
Right now you see the Cyrenon, the gate stream winding across this small sheltered valley. Around you on 3 sides, cliffs. And in the center around the Cyrenon, in the center of the valley around the Cyrenon, and up against the cliff face, holly trees. A forest of holly trees growing everywhere. Yes, here's the route you have followed from Tharbad in the west there, all the way along to Austin Edhill, the old elven stronghold, up to the west gate of Moria, which you can see there on the
So this is like
eastern
weeks
side.
of travel.
Yes,
Yeah.
that we have
Few weeks of
glossed
travel.
that we have glossed over, so that we may move on to the adventure itself.
Good.
Very good.
I see it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Poor Celebrimbor. And Austin Edhill.
yes.
The ruins
Yes.
of the Elvish city.
Oh, yes, a sad tale for another time and another network. Can I do
Yep.
a scan using the unquenchable lantern along the face of the cliff?
Yes, you
See
may.
if I can spot it.
Yes, you certainly may. And remember, that gives you 2 extra dice to your scan. And you can achieve a magical success if that is possible or would help you in some way.
And a favored, this is off show, a favored roll means that the square is also checked, and it means you can roll 2d12 and pick the highest, right?
Thank you, Alicia. Yes, and I should have mentioned that in our initial rules discussion. Some of you have dots that are marked to the left of the skill. That means the skill is favored, and as Alicia said, in that case you roll 2d12 and take the higher. However, there may be times when I say that your roll is ill-favored. That means you roll 2d12 and take the lower. Okay, how did your scan roll go, Hanar, son of Onar?
I got a 28.
28
with a fantastic success.
And so, looking at your wits score, your wits target number, we see that 28 beats your wits target number of 14 by an incredible amount.
Doubles it.
Yes, it doubles it, and you got a 6 as well. You say.
Yes.
And so, as Hanar, son of Onar, approaches in the gathering dusk and lights the pale blue light of the unquenchable lantern, suddenly there in the moonlight, filigrees of silver begin to glisten on the cliff face wall between two holly trees that are set just against the wall, perfectly kind of bordering something, and these silver filigrees begin to fill the space between the holly trees, and they form a sort of symbol, a sigil, and you see before you elven script at the top, and then a crown with 7 stars, an anvil, and then below that another star, and on each corner and down below a dwarven rune, and you are looking, yes,
Oh, yes.
you are looking at a door, a glowing door that the unquenchable lantern has revealed.
Whoa.
Wow.
But how do you open it?
Oh,
That's a
here we
great
are.
question. I can't read Elvish, so I'm stumped.
Can
Is there a
anyone
place
read
that
Elvish?
says on your sheet if you can read Elvish, or
No, but I would accept a lore roll.
Who has good lore?
Lore.
I think the library
try.
man might.
Forgive me, I have not reviewed the language rules in detail, but I do know that a lore roll will suffice.
Does
I
anyone have
failed.
good lore? Sadok, in all the time you've spent in libraries,
You would think that my lore skill would be higher, but for some reason I'm drawing a blank right now. And I realize I have 0 dots in lore.
If you ever have,
Well, that's
if
the
you ever-
thing.
what
If you
does
ever have
dots
0
do?
dots, yes, well, these
Right.
were pre-generated characters, and perhaps you should have looked more closely before claiming that you've read every book in the Shire.
Wow.
That's the thing. I
Probably
think
should
Jason's
have.
lore rating.
Yes.
Lore rating is way higher than
Jason's
Sadok's
lore rating is 6 dots. It's 6 dots.
That's what it is.
Oh, this
Alright,
is
I will
frustrating for
read
me.
I have to pretend I don't know anything about Middle Earth.
Does anyone have lore?
I do.
Okay, how many dots of lore do you have?
2.
Okay, great. And what is your your target number for wits is a 13. So please roll
Yes.
2d6s and a d12. And
You can spend hope too.
you could spend
right.
hope. Would you like to spend a point of hope?
I sure will.
There
I will
you
take my
go.
Sophia
Take another
dice.
d6 in hand.
All right.
And you can only spend
All
1
up.
point of hope at a time. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay, 10.
I believe
Ooh,
so.
10, 6, 3, 3.
Oh,
Fantastic success.
Oda,
Yeah.
Oda, you know the
Oda.
secret. You long have you known, for in the halls of Harmouth some dwarven lore has been discussed and gone over for many, many years. You were instructed in it as a young dwarf, and you know that the way to enter is to speak the elven word for friend. Speak friend and enter, says the inscription above the door, and you must only utter the elven word melon.
I would like to inform the rest of the group of this. I did take a class once on Elvish, and I passed. I did very well. entirely know what this says, but
It was
one of us has to say the word friend.
I audited it.
It was pass or fail.
But I didn't pay much attention.
Passed.
Yes.
So one of us is going to have to say the
And
word
as
friend.
you are relating this to the rest of the group, you say the word melon. And the doors suddenly they sort of swing open, and they swing open in a way that you're not expecting, sort of diagonally. They sort of open, and you are looking at a dark space and steps leading upward into the mountain. Yes, the Elvish word for friend is used to open these doors, because long ago this was the route from Eregion that the elves would take to parley and work with their friends the dwarves here in Khazad-dûm. And you would have to be a fool not to know this password. You'd have to be a complete idiot. It's so very clear. The riddle isn't even difficult. Anyone
It's
who
not.
couldn't
I mean,
figure
even
this
if you
out,
just say what is on there, it would open.
all you have to do is
Just
say
read
the
the riddle.
inscription out loud in Elvish. It's like you'd have to be a complete moron to get this wrong.
What a people we dwarves are for hiding things.
Yes.
Okay, lantern raised. I'm going to set foot into Moria for the first time in my life.
It is utterly dark. You climb the stairs, and soon you find yourselves in a broad, flat, dark expanse. The lantern only goes about 20 or 30 feet ahead of you and bathes everything in an eerie blue light. You find yourself here in Moria. Far off, you can hear perhaps an echo or a cracking sound, maybe the groan of the mountains. But other than that, it is completely silent. And you must let me know how you're going to figure where Tharnau and his company went and how you are going to follow them. Also, what are you going to do to navigate the darkness of Moria and its many dangers? For you know that not only is it dark, but there are many pitfalls and bridges and cave-ins and, signs of decrepitude here in this ruined hall. So you must also figure out how you're going to navigate all of that. So let me know what your plan and approach is, company of adventurers.
Okay, I think first of all we should stick together. We shouldn't spread out.
No, don't
First of all.
split the party. Never.
We do have torches, I believe.
We do 10.
But
10.
And
what,
beef
Let's light
jerky.
all of them right now.
what of the lantern? Wouldn't the lantern guide our way?
That's what I was thinking.
Yes, the lantern does a good job. And the lantern could be used alone, but if you'd like more light, you could let me know.
Light some torches.
I
Should
think
we risk a little more light?
I don't think we should, to be honest. I think that we should try to keep as low profile as possible and use the lantern maybe as just as
Judiciously?
small as we can, so that we're setting off as small of a footprint as we can.
What if there's a trap in the ground? You know elves, they have to be extra.
Also,
That's true.
how are we going to find who we're looking for if we can't see them?
Yes, we have
A
to
great
be able
question.
to...
A great question. For Moria, let me just say, and our dwarves would know this, is very large. You are not in a castle. You are not even in a city. You are in an underground nation.
There you go.
It stretches at least 40 miles from one gate to another. There are 7 levels up and 7 deeps below. This is a labyrinthine complex.
I gotta get this book.
Oh, the book is
Yeah,
dope.
I'm ordering it right now.
It's called Moria Through the
Yeah.
Doors of Durin, and I've been spending hours with it because I love it.
Hell yeah, man.
From Free League Publishing, go and get a copy, and the hard copies will be available at Gen Con if you're going there.
It's nice. Nice book. It's nice.
Do we remember what Balin said they're looking for? Like why they were brought to Moria in the first place?
Right. So
I don't remember.
No, that's okay. He said that he thinks Tharnell and his men probably want to reap riches from Moria.
They want to delve too greedily and too deep.
Yes.
Maybe Oda do a lot, like have some sort of knowledge about where treasure would be hidden in Moria, since she seems to know the most about this place.
Well,
if I was a dwarf, and also
since you took a class and all, maybe they showed you a map or something.
It could be lore, or I would also accept, for example, just to give you an idea how the game works, to know the motivations of the party that you're hunting, you might use insight, which is sort of psychology. In order to know what would be valuable here, you might use craft. Or in order to figure out the puzzle of Moria and where they may have headed next, you might use riddle.
Riddle?
Riddle.
Nice.
Yes.
Riddle, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, explore. Oh, that's good.
Out of curiosity, Lore Master, I have a weather traveling journal and it says riddle next to it. Is that something I would add to my roll?
Thank you so much for bringing that up. You have a useful item. Each of you have 2 useful items. When you use a useful item, you may add 1 die to your roll if it is applicable. Your traveling journal adds to riddle, but Una has like a grappling hook with a rope, and that adds to an athletics roll if it's applicable. If Una was running a race to see who gets there first, the grappling hook wouldn't work. But if Una was doing any kind of
to tangle up somebody's feet in the lead.
You know what, Skid? That is correct. I take it back. It would work in that particular case. So if you think it'll be useful, if your useful item is useful in that case, you may use it for 1 extra die.
This seems like time to smoke a little pipeweed, and it might give me more insight into what these terrible ruffians are doing.
He's suggesting we get high right now.
I would
Wait, you're carrying
if you
pipeweed.
shared, honestly.
I'm just suggesting that I get high.
Well,
but you can't do it and not share.
No, this
Truth.
don't need to be
pass.
selfish.
You're
I mean,
right. You're right.
Not exactly.
Yes.
And
all of
I'll
us-
tell you what, I've got a little bit of liquor too, so we can make a party of it before we, get too deep into, the misery here of it.
I love this company has gone into Moria and then immediately pulled out the weed and the alcohol.
And beef jerky.
And you would have to camp in Moria in various parts of your journey. So perhaps you have set up a camp now that you're here to figure out your next move. Yes, Jason, you had a question.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say, could I make an insight roll now with my pipeweed bonus?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Because here's some mechanics question. So the lower the target number, actually, the better, correct?
better.
Because
That's
you got a better
correct.
chance of beating
Yeah.
it? Okay, great.
That's correct. Now, I'd like to mention one other thing. There are target numbers for campaign play, and those usually are higher, but I have created one-shot characters for you that are a little bit less level 1 and a little bit level 4 or 5 to use a old-fashioned fantasy D20 sort of a nomenclature. So your target numbers are a little lower than a beginning character for a campaign. Jason, how did you do on your insight roll?
Well, my target number was 11, and I got 13.
Ah, very good. A
nice.
success. You realize that the greatest treasure, the thing that would make them rich immediately beyond their wildest dreams, that they could bring out of Moria, would be the mithril.
Oh.
Yes.
Moria is well known for mithril. There's
course.
not a lot of lore I know about dwarves, or in general, apparently, but I do know that mithril is the most valuable thing here in Moria. That's what it was well known for.
And in fact, it was the only place that mithril came from in all of Middle-earth. So there must be some left here, and it is very likely that Tharnell and his men, with Hyolen in tow, are going to find a place where they can plunder some mithril. Mithril, for viewers who don't know, is a sort of a dwarven metal, incredibly light and incredibly strong, veined from a special alloy that only existed deep in the veins and the rocks of Moria. All right, but where to find
Time to
mithril?
mention. This might be a good time to mention that I do have a lantern myself.
Yes, you do.
Okay. I just wanted to mention that. I do have one.
Okay, everybody. Ona has a lantern.
Good. A spare lantern.
Understood.
I just realized I had one.
Can I do a craft check? Just to know the mithril lore. Sort of.
You may do a craft check.
Ooh, that's a big fail.
A fail. Your knowledge of the craft of the dwarfs does not avail you here. You're not sure where is a likely place mithril may be kept. But if I'm not mistaken, someone has a set of maps. Oh, that is you, Hanar.
I do. That's me.
And other people may have other advantages or items or skills that may be useful here. Perhaps to know where the mithril might be kept, you might roll lore or explore.
Okay. I do have lore or explore. I really have craft. Very much have craft.
I also have explore.
Okay. Well, let me know who would like to roll. Why don't we have Poppy? Poppy Pickthorn, the woman of Bree. Let Poppy roll her Explorer rating. How many dice do you have in Explorer, Poppy?
2, and I get to roll with, it's not called advantage. What is
Favored.
it called? Favored. I get to roll favored.
Ooh.
So I got a 6 on one of the die. That's 18.
18. Wow. And does that beat your target number under
It does, which is 12.
Very good. And you got a 6 as well. So you, looking perhaps at Hanar's maps, you figure out that the mithril was mined in the Great West Cave in the very heart of the mountain. So many leagues from here, in the very center of the mountain. By looking at Hanar's maps, you guess that there may be some sort of source of mithril there, where there was a great mining operation in the center of the entire mountain.
Oh boy. We have quite the track ahead of us, don't we?
We do. We should wend our way into the heart of the mountain. It is a perilous route, and be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
Very good.
So let's go.
So let's do it. Very good. When you have finished camping, you can head into the dark, and we will begin your journey to the Great West Cave in the heart of the mountain. Before we do so, I will just mention one thing. If at any time you lose endurance for any reason, you can regain it by taking a short rest, which revives your strength score worth of endurance. And if you ever take a prolonged rest, meaning you sleep an entire night, you get all of your endurance points back. But in a minute, we're about to talk about another thing that you can accrue while you're traveling, which is fatigue, because now we are going to begin the travel system of the One Ring. It's sort of a game within the game, where you simulate the great journeys that are in the books, in The Hobbit and in The Lord of the Rings. Great journeys are undertaken by the heroes in these novels, and so great journeys are a part of the One Ring's game system. So, when you go on a journey, and Moria is a journey of many miles to the Great West Cave, you must choose your offices as parts of the journey. One of you will be the guide who leads the expedition. One of you will be the delver, the dwarf, most likely, who knows the most about the craft, the tunnels, and the architecture of Moria. One of you will be the lookout with keen eyes to spot any sort of danger that might lie ahead. And one of you will be the scout who goes forward into the dark and reports back what they've found. Each of those different offices uses a different skill to complete their tasks. The guide, the leader, will use travel. The delver will use craft. The lookout will use awareness. And the scout will use explore. So please let me know which office you think each of you will take. I have an idea since I created the pre-generated characters, but...
I will be the Oda will be the delver.
Oda will be the delver with a strong craft rating, right?
Yes. Yes, did
Poppy
I come from a long line of miners?
Yes.
Poppy will be the scout.
The scout with a strong explorer rating.
I believe I should be the lookout.
Yes. With a decent awareness rating, and that leaves Hanar, son of Onar, the leader of the expedition, to be the leader of this journey as well, with a strong travel rating.
Yes.
And so, you head off into the dark, and as you travel, it is utterly dark and silent except for the groaning of the mountains, and occasionally you realize that you are walking by huge clefts that were rent in the rock, and you can hear the sound of water running far beneath, churning waters. And in other places you see pitfalls and realize that you are going across stone bridges over vast, empty, open spaces. And the scale and the grandeur of the place beggar your sense of wonder. You are utterly insignificant in comparison to the scale of this great hall of the dwarves. And to begin our journey, let us have our guide roll travel.
Okay.
Yay, Hannah.
That's bad. 11 under 13. Oh wait. This is a favored skill for me, so I can roll I rolled a 1 on the feat dice. I can roll another one.
Oh, good.
Very good.
And instead of a 1, I got a 2. So 12.
So
12 under 13. So
You failed. Great. I'm glad we have a failed roll. It helps me explain the system more. When the guide fails, that means that there will be more peril, more danger along the route. And so, after you have traveled miles into the complex, upstairs, around corridors, past dwarven halls on either side, stairs branching off, but staying on sort of a main corridor, you eventually come to an event along your route. And to determine who the target of the event is, I roll a d6. And the event is going to happen to our Delver.
Uh-oh.
Ah!
So the Delver, you are the one who will be dealing with this event. That means that in a minute you will have to roll your craft skill to see how you handle the event. But first, let us determine the event by rolling a feat die.
I am ready.
Okay.
I'm ready too for this thing to happen to you.
Always.
And as a lookout,
I'm always ready.
I'm
never not ready for something to happen to you.
As the lookout, I will watch it happen to you.
Wow, look at that. That looked
It's
horrible.
because you're high, isn't it?
He's still high.
More pipeweed, please. Pass it back.
A fortuitous event has been rolled. Delver,
Oh, what?
you are traveling through the dark for a long time. Days, in fact. Maybe 3 or 4 days. When you see
sucks.
a tunnel branching off up and to the right, there are wide, broad stairs leading into a corridor above you. Perhaps from the level of the East Gate up to one of the higher levels, like the second level of the complex. And you think that you may be able to travel faster if you go up there along a shortcut. But to see
cool.
if you are correct, you must roll your craft skill now.
Oh no. Hawk, I think I see a shortcut.
Hawk.
I might see a shortcut. We'll see. Come on, Blanche, don't let me down. Okay, I'll take the 7. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yes! My target number was a 12. I made a 14.
Very
Awesome.
good. Your clever shortcut delver takes a day off of the length of the journey.
Awesome.
And
Wow.
therefore, it may remove one of the events or dangers that lie in your way because you've gone at a faster pace. Very good, Delver. Excellently done.
You're welcome.
You travel for 2 more days. And then another event occurs down here in the dark. And this time, the target is the lookout.
Oh no.
I'm here.
Look out.
Look out! Oh no.
Uh-oh. That sounds bad.
It does sound bad. Lookout, you of course are always keeping an eye out for danger. And you are also keeping your ears pricked for danger. And because you are sort of behind the rest of the company at a certain point, you clearly hear footsteps behind you. Soft, padding footsteps back behind you in the impenetrable darkness.
Do they sound like they flap?
Yeah, they're bare feet and they flap.
Do they sound
Like
like they
duck.
flap is my favorite question I've ever received as a lore. Sadok, Underhill, I can tell
wouldn't
you
even
that they
think of
are
that.
definitely flapping or have a flap-like
Oh.
quality.
Whoa.
If you
Something
are
tells
assuming
me-
it is Gollum, go ahead
Yeah,
and
we
assume that.
Okay.
Although it really might not be due to the era that you're in and a number of other
It
things.
probably.
It
could
probably
be. It
is
could
not.
be, but probably not, yeah.
You, what do? I just want to know what you do before we resolve the event when you hear these footsteps.
Look out.
I would actually like to hide and let the footsteps come closer to see if I can see who or what they are.
Oh, good answer.
Very
I
good.
have a pretty good stealth. And I do have one more mechanics question. So when there is a dot next to the skill, is that an additional die along with the dots to the right of it?
No, that you are talking about the favored skills. If you have a dot rather to the left of your skill, that means you roll 2 d12s and take the higher.
Great. Okay. I missed that earlier. Thank you very much.
No problem at all.
Okay.
All right. So, let's just role play this a little bit. You wait, and the footsteps come closer and closer, and the rest of the company has gone on ahead and are whispering to each other. They don't hear this, and the footsteps come closer and closer, and now you are sure that whatever or whoever this is scarcely 10 feet from you. And then the footsteps stop. And you see nothing but darkness.
You're not telling us about this at all, by the way. You're just sort of doing this. on
Well,
your
I was
own.
already behind you, so I'm looking out
Oh.
for you.
Okay. Okay.
I step out from my hiding place and make myself known.
There is
Silently still.
nothing. There is only darkness.
See, this is Moria creepiness. This is stuff that happens in Moria. This is random stuff like this.
I run back to my company like a scared little hobbit would. As fast as possible.
Sadok, you run back to your company. You continue along the great road, the great corridor through Moria. Soon, you hear the footsteps again.
Now, when I run back to them, I did tell them, I heard footsteps, by the way, weird flapping bare feet.
You're flapping bare feet?
They were flapping.
Bear followed us in here.
And now I hear them again.
How much of that pipe have you smoked?
Not any more than normal. And I've developed quite a tolerance, believe me. I've made many trips to Longbottom in my time in the Shire.
And now everyone is aware of the footsteps. And listening, you all hear them. But just as whoever or whatever it is seems like it's about to come into the light, the footsteps stop. And now it is time for our lookout to roll for this travel event. Lookout, please roll your awareness versus your target number.
Excellent. I got a Gandalf.
Oh, that's excellent.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Yay.
So that counts
Auto
as
succeed.
Yeah. And then do you want the numbers beyond that, or
No. As long as you succeed or roll a Gandalf, that means you have succeeded. And so, this is very good. What do you do? What do you do in this moment? You do something heroic or skilled as a lookout to handle the situation. What do you do? And it might not even be something physical. It might be something regarding your personality or the way you talk to your friends. Any answer is applicable here. What do you do?
So was I the only one that heard the feet the second time? The footsteps.
Everyone heard them the second time.
I would say that just I let the company walk a few paces ahead of me, and with this roll, I would like to determine the identity of who or what that is by positioning myself in such a way that I catch them off guard for just that moment.
You jump out and to catch the interloper off guard. And as you jump out, you catch just the faintest gray shadow jump away from you, and then you hear flap, 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 back into the dark. Now, that was well handled. And I can go ahead and tell you to let you a little bit behind the Game Master's screen that a failure there would accrue everybody shadow points. But you succeeded.
Thank God.
So shadow points were not accrued. However, no matter what result you roll during a journey, you gain fatigue. I forgot to mention this during Alicia's turn as the Delver. Yes.
Yeah.
You accrue fatigue. So the cost of the fatigue... You have 3 because even the shortcut accrued. I should have mentioned it during Alicia's moment. There would have been 1 fatigue for Alicia's shortcut, Una's shortcut, and then 2 fatigue for this situation with the strange footsteps. So everybody should have 3 fatigue. At the end of your journey, you are going to be able to roll to remove some fatigue. But any fatigue you have left over counts as load, meaning that if your endurance, as I said, ever goes below your load, you are weary. So when you get to the adventure site and we resolve the final part of the travel, you may have enough fatigue that you could only fight for a minute or lose a little bit of endurance before you become weary. So travel matters in this game. We are going to take a short break right now. And when we come back, we're going to continue this journey down into the dark. This is a playthrough of the One Ring 2nd Edition, the new source book, Moria Through the Doors of Durin, from Free League Publishing. Go and buy your copy. We'll be right back on the Glass Cannon Network. Welcome back to Moria, where they dug too greedily and too deep, and our players are digging in to this adventure, which I will mention is an original scenario concocted by myself.
You made this up.
Well, I made up the adventure, but I used all the details and cool stuff you can get from the sourcebook Moria through the Doors of Durin from Free League Publishing, which is out now, I believe.
Cool.
And boy, did I love using all of those details. So we return to our company, who have been traveling many miles, many leagues through Moria, up a level and then down a level again, and past great clefts in the stone and through impenetrable darkness lit only by their unquenchable lantern. And they have gone several more days, but who can tell if it's days or nights or weeks, because there is no sunlight here, there is no light. Who can tell how long you have traveled, but you travel for a little bit, and several more days, and another event occurs. Keep in mind, our guide failed his travel roll, so more events are going to happen than would have if he had not failed.
So if I had made the roll, like, is there like an exact sort of calculation?
There is, and I have done the calculations beforehand in order to speed things up a little bit. But basically, the game has a hex map for the lore master that he can use to measure how much distance is traveled before events occur. When the guide fails a travel roll, the events are more frequent. And of course, all events, except for one, do increase your fatigue. All right, this time, the target of our event will be... Ooh, look at that, our scout.
Oh, no.
Yes, our scout. And let us see what happens to our scout in this particular case. Okay, here we go. Oh, boy. Okay. Some sort of mishap has occurred. Scout, I think that you are explain how you are scouting here in Moria. Perhaps you're not back with the rest of the company who has the unquenchable lantern. Perhaps you've taken one of those torches you've mentioned. How are you scouting ahead? What is your sort of general strategy in doing that?
Yeah, I would say I definitely have a torch, since I am in front of everybody else. I am a treasure hunter. I forgot to mention that earlier. So I think I'm also like using the environment, like maybe feeling the walls, things like that.
Very good. My scout friend.
Using her nose for treasure.
Yes.
Seek it out.
Maybe searching for things I can grab along the way.
Sure, why not? As long as we're here.
My scout friend, feeling along the walls ahead with your torch, you sort of slightly press your weight against a wall at one point when you're alone ahead of the company, and the stone pushes inward and swings open, and you are looking into a chamber. And this chamber is it's richly decorated. And mostly intact, unlike some of the other. You've come across other rooms and chambers on your journey through Moria. Most of those were completely empty, with maybe a few pebbles or rocks or dust kind of scattered along the ground. Things ripped down. You could tell where there used to perhaps be metals woven into these rooms, and that they've all been torn down, pried from the wall. But this chamber appears to be untouched. And in this chamber, Poppy Pickthorn, you see statues of dwarves, one in each corner, and they sort of are a sort of decoration. They sort of come out of each corner, like staring bravely ahead from each corner. Wrought in bronze. And then along the top of the wall, there are friezes, depicting heroic deeds of the dwarves. Perhaps you see the deep legendary of the First Age. Durin looking into Mirror, Durin fighting a great beast in the heart of the mountain, all depicted along the top of the wall and along the base of the wall in sort of hieroglyphic type fashion. But what excites you more than that, Poppy Pickthorn, is that there are items of worth in here.
Oh.
You have stumbled across a lesser treasure hoard.
Uh-oh.
First, we will roll to see how much treasure is here. 3 points worth of treasure. Now, each point of treasure adds to your load. Poppy, will you take the treasure? You find, they look like the accoutrement of battle. This appears to have been an old armory. And so you find badges of office that the dwarves of old would wear to indicate their rank. And these are stones of some value. Onyx and emerald and things like that. They look like medals or medallions that the dwarves would wear. And there are 3 points worth of treasure here. Are you going to take it and increase your load?
Question. How far away is the party? How far away is everybody else?
Poppy, the party is very far away, but you don't care about that. Look what you found.
Just out of curiosity, how far?
Poppy, who cares?
Not that I care, but...
Poppy, if they were here, they would want some of this treasure.
I think I'm going to take all 3.
Poppy...
This sounds like some serious shadow point accrual. That's what I'm hearing.
I think I'm going to... there's no way I can't take this.
Poppy, do you
What are you
think
going to do? You going to leave it there? For the orcs?
Yeah, Poppy... Poppy, do you believe that you are allowing your greed to manifest here?
No.
That just sounds like common sense
You don't
to
think
me.
that you are?
Yes,
you don't
I
think that
do.
you are? You're keeping it for yourself. You're not telling your friends, and this is a dark and sacred place that you are taking it from.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
In that case, and because we'd like to demonstrate the game, I would like you to roll a shadow test. A shadow test. You will roll your wisdom score, which as a newly minted character is a 1, plus the feat die, the D12, and you will roll it against the difficulty level of your heart rating.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or wait, no, I'm sorry. It's your wisdom, so against your wits rating, your wits target number.
So 1 D12, 1 D6.
Uh-huh.
Can I use a hope point?
You cannot use hope on a shadow test.
Oh, man.
14.
You succeeded.
I succeeded.
Oh, wow.
You gain no shadow points.
Wow.
You're a treasure hunter. This is part and parcel for you. However, I am going to roll twice to see if there's any additional treasure here that might be interesting. Okay. No. You do not find any famed or magical weapons or armor. Just these sort of medallions of office of the dwarves hanging, I think, from those dwarven statues that you found. But Poppy, you must now roll for the travel event. And if you fail, I will rule that Poppy stays in here a very long time. She is fascinated by the place and finds it difficult to leave. Those are the stakes, Poppy. Please roll Explore to see how you handle the travel event.
$15.
15.
That's above my 12.
That's above your 12. You handle this mishap well. You do not add 1 day to the length of the journey, and you do not gain an additional fatigue, which is what would have happened if you failed. And so just the normal fatigue value of 2 is added to everybody. So the current fatigue for the entire party, each of you should have 5 fatigue after these travel events.
Getting tired.
you're getting tired, and of course you would, traveling for a week into Moria.
Sure.
But Poppy, you are able to leave the room if you desire to do so. You are able to break free of your greed and return to the party.
Is there any way to shut the door?
There certainly is.
Okay, I slip out and shut the door.
Very good, Poppy. I can now tell you that after traveling for another day or so, another 24-hour cycle through the dark, you have come to a magnificent hall. Everything is like a mirror to your torches. Everything shines. The lantern glows off of all the walls. You are looking at a magnificent hall with like dwarven manses on either side. And in many places, whatever this metallic ornate decoration has been, it's been ripped down. But you are looking at a place of importance, a place of great wealth, and you're not quite sure where you might be. You know that it is not the place you seek. It is not the Great West Cave, for there is definitely no mining that was undertaken here, but it is an interesting landmark of note. You may spend some time here if you'd like, exploring, or you may continue at your objective.
I mean, Hanar would definitely want to explore, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. Then, if you would like to determine where you are, give me some sort of skill roll.
Okay, this would be is this a scan, or is this might be a scan?
If you'd like to use some sort of scan, I would allow that as well.
Can I do travel? Could I do travel?
Travel, that's interesting. Yes, I'll allow travel.
Okay.
Scan is going to be 3.
17 over 13.
17 over 13. From your many travels through many dwarven redoubts and citadels, you can only determine that this is sort of a city in itself in Moria. Moria contained multiple communities, right? Like we said, it is not a city or a castle. Moria was a nation of the dwarves. And so this is one of those cities that you found yourself in. And using your travel expertise, you find a hall that looks like a seat of a great dwarven lord. You find also a marketplace, granaries, and another building that you're not sure what it might be.
Wow.
But it looks like a building of some importance with colonnades and a great courtyard and places of repose for the dwarves that would visit there.
Yeah,
and everything is covered with this beautiful metallic filigree of silver and gold.
Is there any mithril like in here? Is any of this metal mithril, do I think?
Yes. Looking carefully, you do not see mithril. It is not only mithril that they mined in Moria, of course, and so here they have decorated things with gold and silver, and much of it has been torn down, but much of it was difficult to tear down because it is a very high height here in the cave, or it is built so solidly into the column or the pillar or the side of the structure that it is difficult for it to rip down. But I can tell you, my friend Hanar, that in places where it has been ripped down, you find scratches and claw marks.
Oh, man.
And even scratches that have written things like graffiti in a language you do not know.
Okay. Well, first, Hanar he's awestruck by the majesty of this place. And he mutters something in Khazad-dûm and Dwarvish, which they never speak in front of outsiders. And in Khazad-dûm, he says, this place makes Erebor look like the interior of a septic tank. and then he sees like the scratches and the thievery that's happened here and the graffiti, and he's incensed. at these orcs, like desecrating this place. And he
sounds like he's making a shadow test, Hanar.
Maybe.
Maybe. In this case, please roll your valor against your heart score. So 1d6 for your valor, 1d6 for your valor, and then 1d12 for the feat die, and try to hit your heart score. Your heart target number.
I got exactly a 13. Oh wait, no, yeah, because I got a Gandalf on the D12. So
you are not overcome by shadow. You are emboldened. You are motivated.
Yeah.
Your spirit rises, perhaps in vengeance or focus and determination, or what arise from this experience.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I am bold and honorable. So I could have even made a case for one of those, using those. But yes, he is just his resolve is strengthened to find this place and to do his part to rid this place of the intruders that now own it.
Yes. Very good. You can continue on your journey. You could continue to explore here. Let me know.
Would it be a good idea to rest here, since we've collected fatigue points?
You could rest, but you are still on your journey, so fatigue will not be removed until the end of your journey.
The journey?
Okay.
Got it. All right.
No.
I did do a scan. I did a scan and I got a 19 because I do have 3 dots in it. So I got a 19 and 2 were 6s. So if there's anything I'm trying to think what I could possibly scan. And do something, amazing, because it was 2 6s.
Yeah.
I want something amazing from my scan.
I think I'm in the dark.
You were looking for incredible swords, I think. Magic swords.
That's a good idea, actually.
So you, my friend Una, have traveled into that that final building I described with the colonnade and the courtyard. And going inside, you find many dwarven scrolls that have been that have decayed. They have decayed completely. Really, you just find kind of like the wooden ends of a lot of scrolls, or you touch like a pile of them and they sort of like fall into pieces of hide and they're illegible. But with your scan and your 2 6s, my friend, Ona, on the ground, in an otherwise empty room of whatever this building was, you find a ring.
Oh, what? That's always good news. Nothing bad could happen out of this at all.
I would like to take that ring off the floor of this room.
Very good. You have done so.
You expect me to tell the rest about it? I will.
Yeah. I'm curious whether you actually tell us. You may be compelled not to, but if you do, I'd certainly.
There is an inscription in Khazad-dûm on the ring.
Oh, and I read that, right? Me and Hanar can read that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This is the ring of Ni. No matter who bores it, she is its possessor. Ni would be pronounced Ni, N-Y-I, Ni.
Ni.
And the ring.
This isn't one of the 7, right?
No, not well. Let's have some lore rolls if we want to know about that. And in order for you to know about that, my friend Hanar, your friend Una would have to share it with you.
Exactly.
Oh, how so Oda, she's fierce and proud, and she does trust her travel companions at this time, but that could change. I just want to remind you that I do have a modified mattock, which is a giant pickaxe and has 2 sharp sides, 1 horizontal and 1 vertical, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Okay.
Not directed towards somebody.
One second, Oda.
I don't know.
One second, Oda.
Here.
Oda of Harmouth. I'm looking at the character sheet that I created, and I don't see a mattock on it at all.
This
Maybe
is
she
for
found it
flavor.
here.
It's flavor.
Okay, flavor the axe that you have.
Yes, it is. It's like, so a mattock is it's a pickaxe, but it has two sides that look, like this, sort of.
Sure, but I will just say a mattock is a specific weapon in the game with a specific load level, which would affect whether you become weary or not. So, although I don't ever want to be the GM that says no, but you have an axe.
All right, can I make the axe look like a mattock, but it's an axe?
Very good. The special effect is that it is a small, normal-sized mattock with no special ability.
All right.
Now I'm really scared. Now I don't want any part of this.
When I tell my companions about this ring, and I notice that Sadok is still swaying on his feet, and I see the greed in Poppy's eyes, and Hadar knows exactly what I have in my hand. I tell them about this ring while I finger my sword and my small, inconsequential axe on my back.
It's not necessarily inconsequential. It could be very consequential.
Consequence.
It could be. There's consequences for whoever gets hit by it.
Exactly. Okay.
I'm just saying it's not a mattock, the largest weapon in the game. Okay.
Can I do? Seeing the ring, and the fervor in her eyes, and the fear thereof. Can I do a lore check?
You can.
Gandalf rune.
Oh,
Nice.
I feel like there should be a Gandalf sound when we roll Gandalf.
Thou shall not
do it. You're the voice actor. You're the voice actor.
Say you shall not pass anytime you roll a Gandalf rune. I think we should do that. So,
I'll do that.
Please do it, please. So,
you shall not pass.
Hanar, you are familiar with the story of Naish. Naish, yes. She was the great queen of West Moria. When Durin's Bane began to take the halls to the east, rise out of the pits and the deeps, and began to destroy and kill to the east, she shut her doors. She shut the great gates of the imperishable hall, this, her citadel, against those fleeing Durin's Bane, against the survivors of Durin's Bane, who banged against the doors of her hall, begging to be let in, but no! They remained closed. And so, her people, the dwarves of West Moria, they survived, but those that survived the initial attack of Durin's Bane perished outside her halls. And they say, with your Gandalf rune, I can tell you, they say that she was forever cursed, for sorrow and mourning filled her halls at the great treachery that she had wrought. And even those loyal to her eventually left her halls, died by some accident or some woe. And she herself fell into the annals of history, and none is known, not as known what happened to her. Sometimes when I try to speak medieval, I can't quite handle it. Yes.
That was pretty good.
Not as known of what happened to her.
Not as known.
They know not. So Hadar spits at the recognition of this name. This is probably this is his ancestors. He's of Moria, and this is probably some of his ancestors died as a result of her actions.
It's just her name is cursed among our people. This is a dark omen.
And he relays the story.
What should I do with it then? We can't leave it here. We have to take it with us.
If you don't want it, I can hold on to it.
Forget it, Poppy! We knew you were in that room for about 3 hours. What were you doing in there? Were you using the toilet?
No.
Doubt it.
This thing is shadow touched. I will not bear it.
Well, then what do you want me to do with it, Hannah?
Leave it. Leave it for the orcs. Let them carry its curse. through these darkened halls. I will not.
I have a question about this ring.
Okay.
Now, with everything that has been pillaged and stolen from this place and ripped from its walls, why was this ring left alone in the middle of a room? Don't you find that interesting?
Perhaps even the goblins themselves knew of its dark treachery. Even they would not bear it.
Perhaps it was even a trap for us. It seems too obvious.
Yes.
Well, I've already picked it up.
Well, all
put it
right.
back
I
down.
guess you can have it.
I've always set things in motion. Maybe I shouldn't have told the lore master that.
Yeah.
Maybe you should make a shadow test, and the result of the shadow test will determine whether you keep it or not.
Okay, so the shadow test is what?
Roll
It is-
1d6 for your wisdom and a feat die, and try to beat your wits rating against your greed.
Okay, 1d6 and 1d12. Oh, just one of each?
That's right.
That's a big number to beat with 2 dice.
What is your what
okay.
number are you trying to beat?
13.
A 13? That's not that big.
You could do that.
All right, I need to sit 6. All right, yeah, okay. All right, yes. Oh! I got a Gandalf, a 12 and a 6!
Oh, wow. That is a
Right.
spectacular success.
This ring has no power over you yet. Oh, nah. You can toss
Oh,
it
I
away
got-
if you wish, but I'm not going to say that a roll determines entirely a player's actions. You may keep it if you wish, but it has no power over you.
Well, I'm afraid that this ring could fall into the wrong hands, though. We don't know what kind of powers it might have, Hannah.
If this thing lay by the roadside, I would not touch it. But do as you will.
Well, maybe we should
Right.
just bury it then.
If it
I
was
think
my
it would
ring,
resurface.
I'd totally bury it. But
Is there
I
a
didn't find
cliff
it.
somewhere? Like, is this like buildings or like we
Yeah.
throw it off of something?
You're in an
throw
interior
a hole.
space that is like an entire small town unto itself. So there are no cliffs here, but along your journey, you have come across many chasms and pits and spaces beneath the earth that a ring could easily be thrown into. But it sounds to me, as your lore master, that Oana would like to keep the ring, and that is certainly
it's a ring.
It's certainly within her prerogative to do so.
Hey, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your ring. What about Gandalf?
Yeah.
Do what you want. Just telling you. It's bad news.
I do feel it. I feel it. I do, Hannah. And our people and what they suffered. I think that in our travels we might come across the proper resting place for this ring. But I don't think it's here. I'll take it with us.
All right. I do fear its power. Keep your distance.
We hobbits are known not to be very affected by rings. I'm just saying, if you want me to keep it for safekeeping, I could put it in a pocket in my breast vest that has no zipper or button.
You can put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Or that. Oh,
I'll think
Yeah,
about
this
it.
ring. What it's doing already.
It's tearing us apart!
Already
Fellowship
starting
is
to
tearing
do
the
it.
fellowship apart.
It's already tearing us apart.
Very good. So if there are no other actions to undertake in the imperishable hall, you may move on through your journey, and it looks like your journey is nearly at its end.
oh, sweet. Let's go.
What?
You head further eastward through the mountain, and you exit the great gates that Hanar is aware of. The great gates that were shut against those fleeing eastern Moria, and they are hanging wide open, as if opened from the inside of the imperishable hall.
Wow. This is like the dead men of Dunharrow. This is reminding me of that.
Yes.
You know, it's like whether after they died, like maybe they emerged from here.
Yes, and these gates are, they're like 50 feet in height. They're just enormous, like metal doors. And then outside of the gates, there is sort of a wall to the imperishable hall, and you see things scratched on it in Khazad-dûm.
Oh, man, I have to get this book.
Traitor. Oathbreaker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Whoa.
You move on.
Yeah, let's go.
A day or two passes in the dark. You pass many strange sights. A place full of icy water, where an almost frozen fall splashes down into an immense hall that is now completely covered in icy water. The ice and the water glistens in the light of the unquenchable lantern. You move forward, and then you know that you must move to the north through several corridors until finally, after more than a week's travel down here in the dark, you come to the Great West Cave. The heart of this mountain is hollow. Every chamber you've seen thus far is like a small cottage in comparison to the great vaulted ceiling of the Great West Cave. This is an enormous space, and you can feel the weight of the mountain bearing down on you here in the dark. Ahead of you, you see a great broad thoroughfare, but some of it is wrought in metal. It is very, very dark here, but ahead you can see that this broad thoroughfare eventually turns into a wide bridge over a deep chasm.
The Bridge of Khazad-dûm.
No, not that bridge.
Oh, it's another.
Yeah, well, you know what? One of the
jumped the
bridges of Khazad-dûm. There
It
are
is
many.
a bridge of Khazad-dûm.
A
Here
bridge
we are
of
in
Khazad-dûm.
There's a bridge. Hence,
To your right, to the south, you see a complex, a place where the dwarves may have lived or worked. Many buildings clustered against the southern wall of this great cave. Ahead of you, the bridge, and then to the north, you spy enormous stalactites and stalagmites, the size of skyscrapers, that create a forest of stalagmites and stalactites. You may investigate any of this as you wish.
Ooh,
You are in the Great West Cave.
we are here.
I'd
Is it
like to
still
make an
dark?
explore roll.
Very
this
good.
round.
Yes. What are you trying to determine or do with the explore roll?
Maybe any signs of the people we're trying to find.
Great. Please do so.
Good call.
Could I make an awareness roll as well? Would that
Yes, you
as
may.
a lookout?
That's a great idea.
Ooh, 12. Is it meets it, beats it?
Meets it, beats it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12.
Yes.
Nice.
Woo! Nice.
So, can I say something?
Yes, you may.
Sure.
You cannot pass!
Okay.
I got another Gandalf, and I got two
Wow.
6s and a 3.
Oh,
Oh my
okay.
God.
So, we are going to narrate the consequences of those two die rolls in a minute. But before we do that, I forgot a step in our journey. We have entered our journey, and everybody has 5 fatigue. I'm going to give you an opportunity to remove some of that fatigue. At the end of a journey, everybody rolls travel. If you have no travel, and I think at least one of the characters has 0 travel, you must make an ill-favored roll. 2 feet die and take the lower, okay? Or if you get a success on your travel roll, you remove 1 fatigue, and every 6 equals another fatigue that you remove. So let us do that, and then I will narrate our rolls.
Right. Oh,
No fatigue taken. Did not.
you shall not pass.
Oh! How, so that's a success. Did you get any 6s, Skid?
No 6s.
Okay, but with the Gandalf rune, I'm going to go ahead and rule as the lore master. You can remove 3 of that fatigue for a total of
Beautiful.
2 fatigue on your sheet. Poppy Pickthorn of Bree, how did you do?
Nope.
Fail. You, Poppy, will stay with 5 fatigue. Ona of Harmelt, how did you do?
18.
An 18 is a success. Did you get any 6s?
1 6.
Ona of Harmelt, you should have 3 fatigue left. And my friend Sadok, who has 0 travel, you failed, of course. You remain at 5 fatigue. Remember that you add your fatigue to your load when calculating whether you become weary or not. So if your endurance goes below the total of your fatigue plus your load, you become weary. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Adventures make one late for dinner.
Yes.
So I have no travel.
You've been eating, for a hobbit, you've been dining on meager fare, dried meats and onions that were picked from the forest and things that just hobbits' little gastrointestinal system cannot process properly.
What's wrong with my onions?
So now let us narrate the consequences of the rolls that we spoke of. My friend Poppy Pickthorn, your exploration roll, your explorer roll was successful. You are certain that if someone was going to make a camp here, they would go to that dwarven complex. It would hide them from anybody traveling through the cave. It's a type of shelter. There may be even useful items in there. It's possible. So you're pretty sure, especially as a treasure hunter, that you would like to go and look at that dwarven complex. Okay?
I'll let the group know.
Yes. My friend Sadok Noakes, with your multiple 6s, you don't know how you know. You're not sure if you heard something, but you are sure that there is someone ahead of you on that bridge.
Oh, wow.
Right now. Far ahead of you, indeed, but ahead of you. So your keen hobbit ears have picked up something. A hint of an echo.
There's something or someone on that bridge. It could indeed be Hewlin, for all we know.
It could be.
Hewlin? Who the hell is Hewlin?
It could be Durin himself.
Hewlin's the guy we're looking for!
Oh, right.
Hewlin. But yes.
Hewlin.
Hewlin! Close enough. I only speak common and Shire folk language.
Kudakan?
We're having pronunciation problems this entire adventure, it seems.
It's tough to pronounce.
Made up or not.
We're not philologists like Professor Tolkien. We're not philologists like him. Do your best. That's all I ask. Do your best.
Boy. Okay, so where does Poppy think the camp is?
Poppy thinks the camp is to the dwarven complex to the south.
Which is across the bridge?
Which is not across the bridge. It is here to your right. It is not across the bridge at all. It's right there.
Okay. Well...
But I think somebody's on the bridge.
Yeah. So, Hanar, I think, given Sadok his role, I would like to see if this person is friend or foe before we investigate the camp. Let's go to the bridge.
Okay.
To a bridge of Khazad-dûm.
One of the many bridges of Khazad-dûm. Okay. You run along this bridge, which is more of a highway suspended over a great pit. And as you run along it, the unquenchable lantern creates huge shadows along those giant stalactites. Huge shadows. Your bodies are many, 60, 70 feet tall, the shadows of your bodies as you run along. And you see now ahead of you a glimmer of light. There is someone holding a torch. And near that person, there are 2 enormous cages. They look like they might be elevator platforms. They are suspended from the ceiling with great chains. Each one is the size of a small house, like a hut. One hangs on the left side of the bridge. and many of its chains are broken and it hangs at a steep angle. The other is level with the bridge, and it is open, and the torchlight is there near that great cage. That is all you can discern in the darkness for right now. Let me know how you'd like to approach.
Well, I'm definitely getting Time Bandits vibes off of this so far. Could I do a scan check on the cages to see if there's anything in them?
You may.
Can I help?
That's a
Do you need
big
help?
no.
Oh,
Can you help? Let's go ahead and use a mechanic of the game that allows people to help. If you want to help someone, Una, and I'm going to go ahead and I don't like to do this usually, but I want to show this mechanic. When you help each other in the One Ring, you spend hope and you give someone else another die. However, each of you has a fellowship focus, a good friend among the company who is the most important person to you. And Una, as a dwarf of Nagrad or Belagost, you can only choose another dwarf to be your fellowship focus. So when you spend a point of hope for your fellowship focus, they don't gain one die, as with a normal aid roll. They gain 2. So would you like to spend a point of hope and give Hanar 2 dice to spend, 2 dice to roll, 2d6s?
you bet your hiney.
Okay, so this becomes a momentous scan roll, and you may roll 2 other dice, Hanar.
Oh, I got 2 6s.
Oh, not only is there someone holding a torch outside of the large elevator platform, there is someone inside that cage, and that person is a dwarf.
There's a dwarf there, within the cage.
Is it alive?
They are standing. The figure outside of the elevator platform and the figure inside are standing. Your dwarven eyes are adapted to the dark, Hanar, and you see these things in the dim shadow in front of you.
So the dwarf is in the elevated cage?
That's correct. Not in the one that's elevated above with broken chains. That's on the left side. He is in the cage that is even with the bridge on the right side.
Okay.
That could be our target.
You want to hit first, or do you want
let's
to
go.
tell them to announce themselves?
Yeah, okay. Hey!
Announce yourself.
Announce yourself and your deal in this place.
What's your deal?
What is your deal?
You hear the dwarf in the cage shout out in Khazad-dûm, "Cousin, you are well met. Help me before this fool dooms us all." Then you hear a shout in the common speech of man, "Quiet! Who's there?"
Oh boy. Can I do like an insight, or can one of us do an insight check? Probably not me.
Not
Can
this
one of us
far
do
away.
An insight check.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
this far away.
Well, I'm bold, so I think Hanar's just gonna charge
Can I ask a
towards these
question really
cages.
quick?
Yes, you may.
Did in his scan roll, did you see any mechanic to the elevator?
He did not, because that is not what he was looking at. But would you like to look for something like that, Poppy
Ooh.
Pickthorn?
Yes. do
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
but I want to get closer, but stealthily.
What a great idea. Why don't you go ahead and give me a stealth roll?
Nope.
No. So
Dang it.
you run forward and you're immediately spotted by the man holding the torch. But now you and Hanar have gotten close enough to see him. And he is a tall lout with a low brow and an unshaven face. He has pieces of armor hanging off of him as if he was trying to dress in his armor quickly or get it off quickly. He holds a sword in one hand and a torch in the other, and he looks at you with malice in his eyes. And if you'd like to make some sort of roll to determine the mechanical workings of these elevator platforms, you may look for that in a moment, Poppy. Hanar, you see this brute as well, and you also see the dwarf in the cage, fully bearded and wearing the traveling clothes of a dwarf, looking tired and dirty and rough for wear, and hanging onto the bars of the cage. What would Sadok like to do?
I would like to use my sneaking ability to follow my fellowship members, but try to remain hidden from the ruffians.
Very good.
Sneaking?
Very good. Would you give me a stealth roll as well?
Mm-hmm. 21 over 14.
All that matters is if you have hit the target number or not, and you have hit it handily. So you with on silent feet, unnoticed, are able to hunker down behind a large stone sort of abutment that is part of the bridge, and you are unseen by those near the cages. And Ona, what would you like to do?
I would like to step forward with Hanar and say, do I look like I sew drawers and loincloths and make muffins for a living? Who are you and what are you doing with our cousin? Or is that Uncle Vig? Hanar, who is that in the cage? Is that you, Uncle Vig?
Can't tell. I don't know.
Alicia, who is Uncle Vig?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, okay.
However,
it's
I haven't seen him in a while.
A new character. Well, just to simplify things before we all get confused, it is not the new character Uncle Vig.
Okay.
It is most likely Hyolan. In fact, you would recognize him, Ona, because he is from the halls of Harmelt, from where you dwell. It is Hyolan the Lore Master, the dwarf that you seek.
It is not Uncle Vig. It is Hyolan. What are you doing standing there? Why do you have Hyolan in a cage?
I have to destroy him. This is the lout with the torch. Kill him. It has to be done. And he reaches over to where there is a lot of machinery. And in fact, if you would like to Poppy Pickthorn now look at that machinery and see if you can figure it out, you may, using a craft roll.
Can I also add a die for inquisitive?
Absolutely. I love that. So in order to add dice from your distinctive features, you have to spend a hope.
Okay.
And then you add 2 die because you're inspired.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
Okay, 15 meets it.
Okay, well done.
Nice.
You know, did you get any 6s?
No.
You know that this apparatus uses the counterweight of either elevator platform to operate it, and that probably it is intended for mining purposes. One cage goes way down into the mine while one goes up, and ostensibly mithril is mined and brought back up. The problem that you see immediately is that this is broken, quite broken, and using it will undoubtedly result in some sort of mishap, probably a loud one.
Could I use my bow to like shoot at his hands or something?
Oh.
I think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. we won't call it a combat yet. But
Don't call it a combat. I've been here for years.
Yeah. But what I would like to do is before you do that, you reach for your bow, right? That takes some time for you to pull it out. And he can see you do that because we've established that you are seen. So he immediately turns his sword to Poppy, but he is very nervous. He's got 3 people here that he is trying to do something about, and he's aiming his sword at all of you back and forth, but he's mostly headed toward Poppy. But we have someone who was unseen, someone who should be able to get the jump on anyone or act before anyone else, and that is Sadok.
That's what I was hoping to do. From my hidden vantage point, could I use my famously known hobbit fell bow and let an arrow loose upon Tharnell?
You may. So let us now enter a combat scenario, okay? So combat in the One Ring is really fun. You can do it easily with Theater of the Mind, which we have to do here on stream. And it works like this, okay? The first thing that happens are opening volleys, and that is exactly what Sadok just described. Before the combatants come together, those who are already armed with ranged weapons can fire, okay? Then, once the heroes always go first. Once the heroes have fired their opening volley and the villains have fired their opening volley, if they have ranged weapons, in this case, no one is armed with one, then the heroes can they can engage in close combat. When you engage in close combat, you can take one of 4 positions, or any combat, you can take one of 4 positions. One of them is not a close combat position. Those might not be as important right now because we're dealing with one person, okay? One enemy combatant. But basically you can be forward, which means that you are at the vanguard, attacking like with all your might, getting forward and trying to break through the enemy line. You can be in open position, which means you're sort of just like, kind of like looking for opportunities, moving forward, then back, taking opportunities as they come. You can be in defensive, which means you're fighting cautiously, conservatively, and protecting your companions. Or you can be in rearward position, which means you're standing back away from everybody and just using ranged weapons, okay? So,
and I think like the starter set has like cards for each of these, like you can sort of display it, like turn it the way you want, you know.
And each of these cards in each of these positions has, there they are, has special combat actions that you can do in addition to just attacking. For example, the forward combatant can take the Intimidate Foe action just to scare one of the other combatants and make them lose dice on their attacks. But for now, let us just start with opening volleys. And I believe that both Sadok and Poppy were armed with ranged weapons, so they may do as they like. I will just mention one other thing, which is that some enemies in the One Ring are clearly minions of the Shadow. They are clearly hate-filled servants of the darkness who are evil at heart, irredeemable. Some enemies in the One Ring are mere men, or those caught up in the fate of Middle-earth. And they are not necessarily servants of evil completely. And I'll just say...
They may be swayed by them, perhaps.
They could be swayed by evil, or they could be swayed by good. They are neutral agents within the battle between good and evil here in Middle-earth. And I will just say that before we start firing at Tharnell, son of Gurnell. And let us now do that. Would anybody like to make an opening volley? I believe Sadok was going to.
And what am I rolling?
You would roll your combat proficiency in bows plus a feat die.
Great.
Let me know, especially if you roll a 10 or above on the feat die.
Well, on the feat die, I rolled the Eye of Sauron.
Oh, no. That's equal to 0.
Just opening, just an opener.
But I did get and am I trying to beat my strength
That's correct. Your strength
rating?
target number of 15.
I got a 12 since I rolled the Eye of Sauron. So
Yeah.
maybe it looked cool, but didn't hit.
Twang! Your arrow flies past Tharnell's head, past the cage, and then click, clatters down into the pit below, having not found purchase in its target. And now is an opening volley coming from Poppy Pickthorn, the woman of Bree.
Poppy,
Yes.
your only hope.
Nope. I got a 9 and
Oh no.
You were caught off guard.
yeah, no.
Drums. Drums. And the deep.
Boing, boing, click, clatter, click, clatter,
They
click,
are
clatter. And those volleys go a miss. And now it is time to start our close combat round. Who would like to fight in forward? And keep in mind, at any time you can say, combat is not. It is not a given, right? Like if you'd rather than attack him, if you'd like to stop and do something else, let me know. If you'd like to interact with the environment some way, let me know. Okay? You don't, just because we've started a combat phase doesn't mean that you have to just whack away at enemies with your weapons, okay?
Okay.
So would anybody like to fight in forward?
I would love to be forward.
Okay, very good, Ona.
Yeah, me too.
And so will Hanar, okay? So those in forward are going to act first. When you're in forward, you get +1 die to your attacks, but enemies get +1 die against you too because you've exposed yourself. Also in forward, you can use the Intimidate Foe action, where you roll your awe, and if you're successful, you take away dice from the enemy.
Ooh.
Let us start with Ona. Would you like to attack, intimidate foe, or do something else?
Okay, so first, I think since this is the first sort of whatever, we gave him warning. Those were what we call warning shots. I suggest you lay your weapon down now, because obviously I can tell you've never had your cheeks clapped by a dwarf.
Is it that obvious?
Great. So you're talking to him, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
With my pickaxe, but just sort of toward him like this.
Right. So you're threatening him. Would you like to try to intimidate him, or would you like
Yes,
to?
I would.
Okay. Give me an awe
Give me a
roll.
chance. Okay. Otherwise, we will toss you into the chasm below. We won't think anything of it. Okay. So I have awe. Ooh, I get to roll 2 feet dice. This is good for me.
Oh wow.
2. All right.
Or you're favored in awe. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm used to being awe-inspiring. Do you understand? Look at my armor. Look at my hair.
Look at my curled hair.
Uh-oh. 3. 8.
3?
No, I didn't. I failed.
Oh, you failed with all of those dice. So you rolled 2. It looks like I'm looking at your sheet. You rolled 2 d6s, and then
Yes,
2
I did.
d12s, and you only have a target number of 12 for your strength. What did you roll?
But I only get to pick one of the D12s.
That's correct.
Yes.
So it was 5, 3, and 2.
Not enough. Only a 10 altogether.
I should have used hope.
He is not at all intimidated by you and is intent on activating this machine, this counterweight machine holding up the elevator. And so, would you like to move anywhere?
Okay,
Or
so
do
right
any
now
kind
I'm
of
basic.
minor thing in addition to your intimidation?
I have something called Dour Handed, where I can add a +1 to my strength. Current valor is 1, and +1 to feet die on a pierce. So this is an actual fighting thing.
Yes. So that would not be an additional action, like a small extra action. I'm asking if you'd like to move somewhere, or if you would like to do some small thing,
no.
like pull an item out of your equipment or something like that. Dour-handed is a virtue that you have when you're attacking someone with your weapon.
Okay, as Orda stands there, can I also pull my shield up to show that, he has no chance whatsoever?
Absolutely, you can pull your shield up. Perfect. So you intimidate him, and then you raise your shield with perhaps the insignia of the halls of Harmelt on it. And then we will go to our other forward combatant, Hanar, son of Onar.
Okay, so Hanar he's charging in, and he's also going to try to intimidate.
Okay, great.
But, as he gets right up with his face, and so he shouts out the ancestral battle cry of the dwarves: Baruch Khazad, Khazad Aimenu.
Ooh, I love that so much. You may add a die.
Hey, inspirational.
Add a d6.
Okay, that's 18, and I got a 6. I got a 10.
Ah, very good. So I'm going to say this is not strictly how the rules work, but I am the lore master, and I may interpret them as I like. You have taken 2 dice off of any action he would like to take. Normally, Intimidate Foe would take off 1 die. You've taken 2 dice off of any action he would like to take. And he does
by dipping into the actual lore, I think that's worth an extra die.
I think so. I think absolutely it is. And so
that means, by the way, in Khazad-dûm, it means axes of the dwarves. The dwarves are upon you, which I think is the most badass battle cry in all of fantasy literature.
Dwarves the best.
The dwarves are indeed upon him, and they are closing in.
2 of them.
Yes. Would you like to do any other small thing, a move or some other kind of small action?
No, I really do though. I'd close right into, get right into his face with my both hands on my spear. Understood.
You do so, and now, would anybody like to fight in open position? That is sort of the next group to go. They have a special ability where they can rally their comrades and add dice by using the Enhearten skill. They also don't take a plus or a negative to their attacks because they're sort of just looking for opportunities. They're sort of in the middle of the fighting group. Would anybody like to fight in open? And no is a fine answer. Okay, I will just remind people, because I know we have 2 people armed with bows, that only 1 person can fight in rearward due to the number of enemies and combatants you have. So if both Poppy and Sadek are planning on firing bows, they will not be able to do so at the end of the round. Would anybody like to be in defensive position? In defensive position, you get a negative die to attack, but enemies also get a negative die against you, and you can use a special action to defend one of your companions. Would anybody like to fight in defensive?
Since I'm in forward, I'm in forward. I can't change to defensive. I have this shield.
No, you can change in the next. You can change in the next round, but in the current round, you were in forward.
Got it.
So only 2 people can be in, or only 1 person
only
can be in
one
rearward?
person can be in rearward. That's correct, because only 1 person can be protected by the rest of the squad. If you had 6 players, 2 could be in rearward. But between 2 to 5 players, only 1 person can be in rearward.
So could I be in open and still fire my bow?
No, you cannot. If you are in open, you are considered to have closed with the enemy, and you may not fire your bow. Only in rearward.
I don't want to be in any of them, if that gives you...
You must.
You can sit this one out.
I hear that. I hear that, and this is where the rules meet. Player agency. Rules meet player agency. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm teaching you all these combat mechanics in case you have another combat in a little bit where some of this will make more sense than when you're fighting one guy who's trying to pull a lever. Okay, but you must choose one. You must choose one. Okay, that will determine if Tharnell attacks you, what happens to his dice when he attacks you. But you do not have to attack on your turn.
Okay.
Like I said, you could intimidate, but you could also run and interact with something, or talk to someone, or do anything that you can imagine based on the scene as I have laid it out. Okay?
Okay, then
so would
can
you
I do
like to be open? You would like to be
Yes.
open? Very
Yes.
good. You are now open. You are in open stance, and what would you like to do, Poppy Pickthorn?
I'd like to see if I could... Is the cage, like the elevator, locked? Is he locked in there?
The door is shut. And Hyolan is
It is
inside.
made by those who are dead.
Can I
away.
open the cage? Try to get him out?
Yeah, you run over.
Don't get us started.
You run. Yeah, you run.
Sorry.
You run over to the cage, and you can see that it has been like clasped shut from the outside. And if you take your action this turn to unhook it, the door will be able to open next round.
That's what I will do.
Okay, Poppy runs forward to rescue Hyolan by opening the elevator platform. Now, would anybody like to be in defensive? I bet the Hobbit. Are you in defensive or rearward, my friend Sadok?
Oh, rearward.
Rearward.
Sorry,
okay.
excuse me. Yep.
Sadok, you are in rearward. What would you like to do?
I would like to actually have my arrow hit something this time.
That would be great.
Oh, okay. You're gonna fire your arrow.
That would be preferable to what happened last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Who are you firing at?
I mean, do I have an open? Do I have an open shot still to the
To Tharnau, son of Gurnau?
Yeah, to Tharnau. Yep.
You do, because he is currently trying to pull a lever and is thoroughly intimidated by the pair of orcs. Oh my god, dwarves who have closed in on him.
That's later. He just foreshadowed something. Then yes, I would like to fire at him while he is trying to mess with the lever.
Okay.
And hopefully not roll the Eye of Sauron yet again. Much better this time.
Yes.
I got a 21.
All right.
15.
Oh, wow.
So that's over your strength score. Did you get any 6s?
Nice.
I did. I had 1 6.
Okay, so when you get a 6, there are special damage opportunities. What did your feet die land on?
10.
Ah, okay, and that's
a
important.
wound, right?
That's important too, right? Exactly. So, anytime your feet die lands on a 10, that's a possible wound. Okay, and he will have to roll his armor versus your weapon right now to see if he is wounded. Okay, and in addition, anytime you roll a 6, you can spend that to get a special weapon, a special damage result. For example, you could add your strength to the damage that this does in endurance. That's called a heavy blow. You can also do what's called, I believe it's called a pierce, where you kick the feet die up a couple to try to get it to 10, right? But you don't have to do that. You already rolled a 10, right? And you can also do things like a shield bash, and there are other options based on the weapon you're holding. But I think right now what you'd like to do is try to wound him. That makes sense. And then in addition to that, if he isn't wounded, you can also do extra damage equal to your strength, okay? So that was a very, very good roll for you. So the first thing I'm going to have him do is roll his armor versus your injury rating for your bow. And what is the injury rating of your bow, my friend?
Well, 16 plus 2 because it's fell, so 18.
That 2 has already been factored in, my friend. It's already been factored into the stats.
16.
16, here he goes. He's going to try. Can his armor block this from becoming a wound? He rolls a 5, and a 2. He takes an arrow directly to the heart.
Oh.
He gasps, and he falls to the ground. Wow. Blood begins to leak out of him. Sadok, you're a long way from the Shire. You're a very long way from the Shire. And as the life's blood pours out of this man, you're not sure if he was truly an evil man or if he was just on a misguided road. Sadok, please take 2 shadow for a misdeed.
Oh no. If only we could see into his heart. Which actually we can right now, it's exposed.
Yes.
So maybe we should take advantage
Now he's
of
not
that.
necessarily dead, but he is wounded. And he was taken out before he had a chance to pull that lever. So now we are going to end combat. He was the only combatant. We just did 1 round, and everybody can tell me what they'd like to do. The people closest to the cage, the person closest to the cage is Poppy. And then our 2 dwarves, Hanar and Ona, are closest to Tharnau, son of Gurnau. And then away back, behind some cover, is our friend Sadok. So let's start with Poppy. Actually, what would you like to do?
Well, does the door open?
It does.
Okay, I'd like to help cannot remember his name.
Hyolen,
out.
Hyolen, lore master of Harmelt. He steps warily on the shaking elevator platform and takes your hand, Poppy, and looks up at you with gratitude in his eyes and steps towards you and says, Thank you. Never did I think I would see such a fair woman of the Edain here in the depths of Moria. And he looks starved, filthy, and weak.
All right, come over here. We'll help you out, and I'll just lead him over to like where it's safe, basically.
Okay. Yeah. What would Hanar like to do?
I'm gonna pour a bunch of liquor down his mouth. No, I'm gonna go over and give him. I'm gonna give him some food, and it's just like,
Cousin, it's just like, what has happened? What can you tell us of the people that took you? Where are they, the rest of them?
The ones that took me. Yes. I do not know. I was out here inspecting the construction of this great work of our people when I was accosted by that brute. He wished to kill me, to send me down into the depths. Thank goodness that you came along, my friend. And Anna, my kin. Thank you for coming to rescue me.
I don't think you look like Uncle Vig. I wanted to make sure that was true. You definitely don't look like him. Apologies there.
He says,
yes, now that I see him close up, he does not indeed look like your Uncle Vig.
It is a shame Uncle Vig is not here. His wisdom and foresight would have been a boon to this quest.
I agree. I'm happy that you're all right. Oda would like to use her coil of rope, because we're not sure if Thurl is dead, right? He's just sitting there with an arrow in his heart.
And you know what? Let's say chest. I said heart, but maybe
chest.
I went a little too far. There's an arrow in his chest. He is he's currently gurgling and gasping.
Okay, Oda is going to yank the arrow out and use her coil of rope to tie him up, because you will face a harsher jury than us. And she hands the bloody arrow back to whomever shot it.
Sadok.
Who shot it? Oh yeah, Senny, you shot it. Sadok shot it.
Very good. Sadok, what would you like to do?
I walk over to Tharnel, son of Gurnel, and almost to myself, I say, I have no regrets. Like I'm trying to assure myself that I'm trying to talk myself into the fact that I have no regrets. He was going to kill Hyolen. I had no choice. I had no choice. I keep repeating that. Clearly the shadow is taken over me.
Tharnel's trying to say something, but he's gagging on blood.
Do you have healing?
Let us turn him. Let us try to heal him. He's trying to tell us something.
Yes, turn him over.
Have a healing roll.
Like Hendrix.
Turn him on his side. Do any of us have healing?
I do not. I will kill him if I try.
I have a bit of healing. I have just enough that it's possible I could. Can anyone help me in this situation?
I can help, probably.
And why don't we go ahead and say that Poppy, Sadok is your fellowship focus. Your good friend within the fellowship. So if Poppy spends a point of hope, that'll give you 2 dice, Sadok.
All right. Thank you. Well, remember that Eye of Sauron thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did that happen again?
Kind of happened again.
If you have rolled an Eye of Sauron, I can tell you that Tharnel tries to whisper something into your ear, Sadok. but before he gets it out from between his lips, he dies.
Well, he was trying to tell us something. I wish I knew, but at least I have saved Hyolin's life.
Yes.
I feel resolute in that. I can rest easy knowing that I didn't kill an innocent man. But you can almost tell he doesn't believe those words coming out of his mouth. But he's trying. He's trying to believe.
Hyolen says,
Take heart, young Master Hobbit.
He
There's
was
no choice.
He was a cutthroat and a thief. He wanted to steal the glory of Durin's folk for himself. And now he has met the end he was destined to meet.
Could I do some sort of insight check to just kind of see if I believe him?
You may.
Okay. I do get, I got a 6, on my skill dice, so I got 14 over an 11, and I got a 6.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hyolen is fingering something in his pocket.
Oh, it's the ring.
What?
He's got the one ring somehow.
Oh.
Take him out. Throw him into
All
the
right.
pit.
Sense.
We can end this all here.
Sense. That makes sense. What are you fingering there, Yolen? Don't answer that.
Well,
do
only
you have in your
Sadak,
pocket?
Rather a personal question.
only Sadak has seen this. Only Sadak has noticed this.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hyolen, what do you have there?
What do I have where?
In your pocket.
You've got in your pocket.
Ah, you have a keen eye, Hobbit. Yes, something we have found down here in the dark. And he pulls from his pocket a dagger made of silvery metal, wrought with jewels in its hilt, and emblazoned right at the crosspiece is a crown and 7 stars. And you know when you look at it in the glittering
This is
light
Durin's dagger.
of the unquenchable lantern that it is made of pure mithril.
Dragon killer.
Wow.
Incredible. It is a rare artifact.
It is a kingly prize.
Yes,
Have the shadows gotten to you, Yorn?
the shadows have
She's
not.
right. You'd better give it to us.
What?
Well, I think the shadow has clearly taken your soul, and I think as a result you should give us the dagger.
I have not fallen into shadow. It is you thieves who have fallen into shadow.
Whoa, hey!
Come.
Let's not go.
Let
say
us
things
leave
we can't
Moria
take back
while
here.
there's still time.
Right.
I know the
Okay.
ways. I can lead you out.
Well then, where is everybody else? And also, you said you were here before? You weren't brought here? You were already here?
Yeah, am I right also in thinking that he was already here?
Yeah,
He
there's
wasn't
something
kidnapped?
fishy.
Just trying to get the story straight.
What are you
Yeah.
trying to get
Yeah.
him? What are you asking, and what are you trying to get him to say?
Where is the rest of the party? And was he already here?
So you may use. It specifically says this in the book. Someone can use riddle to get someone to admit things or explain themselves or give information.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
I've got some
It
good
is.
riddle.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
do it.
Sadak, why don't you
What?
give it a shot?
What crawls in the morning? No, all right, okay. All right. I'm gonna.
It's black and
gonna
white
give it a
red
shot.
all over.
Ooh, all right. I got 16 over 14, but I also rolled a 6.
Very good.
Now Nice.
So you don't have to have the exact wording, but what do you think you do to kind of like get some information out of him? And what's the main, you got a 6, so what are 2 questions you'd like for him to reveal?
So Durin, not Durin, Balin thought that you were kidnapped and brought down here, but you said that you were down here voluntarily and then were set upon by these ruffians. What, which is the right story?
We came together. Yes, it's true. Yes, once I was coerced, I fell into my role for our survival. Yes, that is how it happened. And you can tell he's definitely obviously lying.
Yes, that's the ticket.
That was pretty bad.
And you may now ask another question because you got that 6.
Yeah, and what are your intentions with that dagger?
I intend to keep it. It is my inheritance as one of Durin's folk. It was my wisdom and knowledge that acquired the dagger, and I intend to keep it as my own. Now we must leave this place before it is too late.
Right. All right.
Could I whisper something? I'd like to sort of say something to my group, but without him hearing. Could I find an opportunity for that at some point?
Yeah, you would need to use stealth to do that, but you certainly may. Is everybody following him out of the Great West Cave back along the road toward the Doors of Durin? I mean, of course, it's a many days journey, but is everybody going to follow him out of here? Or are you going to... Okay. And it's up to you. You can stop him, talk to him, whatever you'd like to do.
Could I check the body of... I'm so sorry, I cannot remember his name.
No, it's okay. Tharnell, son of Tharnell.
Tharnell. I'd like to check his body, see if there's anything, like, to grab, basically. I'd like to loot the body.
You may.
Good call.
Tharnell is wearing a mail coat, a short sword, and on his back he had a bow.
All right.
And he has a torch that has now gone out as it fell to the ground when you killed him, when Sadok killed him. And he, the look on his face is one of shock and incomprehension. You can take that with you too if you'd like. To your grave.
Is there anything that would be like specific to him?
Right, like no journal entries that like explain the whole thing. No dear diary.
Yeah, to keep a diary.
Diary.
Like we encounter, because he's the son of the guy who runs the city, right?
That's right. You find
Does he have a signet ring or
anything?
anything?
He does.
Anything?
You find a ring on his hand. It is a signet ring. It is cheaply made. Not made by rich or wealthy folks at all, and it has a coat of arms that, let me just say, if you made a roll, you could maybe learn a little bit more about it, but that's not necessary.
Okay, I'll just grab it.
Okay, great. Yoink. It is not even worth a fraction of a tenth of an inch of a point of treasure. It is a very worn and lowly ring. Okay.
Well, it'll always have sentimental value for us.
Absolutely.
I'd rather maybe not the chieftain of Tharbad to know that it was I that shot the killing arrow. Just keep that to yourselves, perhaps.
Also, are we walking out? Are we following him?
What are we doing with the body?
I would like to check the site that Poppy thought was their camp. If I can grab him, I'd like to check that out first.
Who are you grabbing?
The
Hyolan.
Oh my god! Who are you people talking about?
I did want to sneak something to our leader. Just a quick whisper. Could I roll for that?
You may. Give me a stealth roll.
Okay. All right. 14, which is what I needed.
Awesome.
A 14, yes. You, unnoticed, can say something to your captain, Hanar.
Okay. I think we should follow him out and then seize him after we get out of Moria. There's something wrong here, and I think we should seize him and bring him to Balin.
Okay. So Hanar gives him a quick nod and a wink in agreement. And I would like to check out this place before we leave.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. But we cannot tarry long. There are many foes in Moria, as you know. This complex you see before you was the hostel of Fane. And indeed it is true that the company of brutes that brought me here encamped here. Let me show you to their camp. He leads you in to a building and up some stairs and to an empty room where he goes, "Gone. They must be somewhere else in the complex. We do well to run from them. They are orc bait for sure." And he begins to walk back down the steps out of the hostel of Fane.
Can I do just a quick scan in here to see if there's
Yep, you may.
Using the lantern, that is a 14, no 6s or Gandalfs.
But you succeeded?
Yes.
As you're moving out of the complex, you go past a room that is only partially open. The stone door is just open to crack. And the lantern, for a second, its light highlights a foot. Laying there in the dark.
How big is that foot?
One moment, Master Hewlin.
And I'm going to go over and investigate the foot.
Pushing open the door, you see 4 men in bedrolls, laying quietly, unmoving on the floor.
I kneel down at the closest one and I pull back the bedroll to take a look at their face and body.
He has been stabbed in grisly fashion.
Are the stab wounds knife of Durin shaped? I mean,
Does it keep it?
Hewlin is behind you and says, here they are. But what has happened to them?
Oh, you'd love to know, wouldn't you?
Orcs and goblins have happened upon them. They are here in the Great West Cave now. We must away.
I'm going to pretend to believe him for now. And, but yeah, I share a look with the rest of our band. Just this guy is a murderer and a traitor. And an agreement with Sadok, we have to take him when we get out, but let's go now.
Can I make an explore roll really quick?
You may.
Okay, I got a 12. So that's a success.
A success on your explore roll. And what are you exploring? The Hostel of Fane, as our friend Hewlin calls it, or another area?
Yes.
Okay. So while our friend Hanar and Hewlin are up in the complex dealing with each other, Poppy Pickthorn has picked among the rooms herself. And Poppy, once again, you stumble across a room that is filled with old junk, old things of wood and stone that have been smashed, but you see glittering objects underneath some old crumbled stones, and you find a treasure hoard.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but load.
good one.
Share the load. Share the load.
Poppy, you find 6 points worth of treasure.
Wow.
Wow!
Ooh, how much can
Is that
I
even
take?
carryable? Yeah.
Yeah. Pockets
Technically,
full.
yes. Technically, I could.
Yes.
Go on without me.
Many necklaces and circlets and things that would have been worn by dwarves of old have been kind of put into this cubby beneath 2 fallen stones. Remember, all of this treasure will create load.
We could split it up.
How far away is everybody?
They
you
are
were gonna
far
ask
enough
that.
away that they do not know what you have discovered.
Can I pick it up and split it up later?
Certainly. Now,
Come back later.
let me look at your endurance here, Poppy. Let's see. So, my friend Poppy has an endurance of 22, and currently she has a load of what?
4.
Of 4. Well, that doesn't quite seem right because my bookkeeping on the character sheet was not entirely complete, and sometimes these mistakes happen. Your long-hafted axe is a load of 3. Your bow is a load of 2, and the load of your leather corselet is 6. So that's 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. So you started with
And then
11.
you took 3 treasure, right?
Then you took 3 treasure.
Yeah.
So you're at 14 right now. You would still be under your endurance if you wanted to go up to well, you would add 6 and you would go up to 20. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, but I have 5
Duffel bag.
fatigue, right?
You do have 5 fatigue, so you would become weary.
Oh.
In fact, you currently are not weary. You're at a 19, so you're not weary yet.
Okay, I'm gonna, Yeah,
takes some.
I'll let the group know that there's treasure.
When you yell out to the group, Hyolan suddenly, his eyes become sparkly, and he says, Where? And he heads back into the complex toward where he heard Poppy's voice.
Shoot.
We follow him, of course.
Don't touch
To
it,
the
daughter
room.
of man! Step away!
Oh, so you've
These are
been
the
hoarding
fine
this.
things left by my forebears. Step away from it! And he pulls at his dagger and points it at you.
I should have known.
Oh man, he's got the dragon sickness.
Yeah.
I haven't touched anything.
He runs down to the cubbyhole and starts dragging all of it out and putting it into his pockets.
We see you doing that right now. You know that, right?
Oh, now you of all should know this is our inheritance. The halls of Harmelt have long been weakened by our lack of wealth. To bring these kingly treasures back would restore the grandeur of the halls. I do it for our people, Lorna. For our people. Now
I
help me
understand,
carry
but
this.
Can I try and steal the dagger while he is grabbing this treasure?
Ooh,
Wow.
that would be
Big soliloquy.
quite difficult indeed. But because he's keeping it in his hand and holding it aloft. If you would like to try to do that, tell me what skill you would use to do that. Let's see.
Sleight of hand thing.
I don't see sleight of
Would
hand
it be
on
stealth?
here.
Just be
Stealth?
stealth.
Stealth, but I'm allowed to do this as a lore master. -1 die.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh no.
And ill-favored?
No, I won't make it fully ill-favored. Although, oh no, yeah, you know what? I will because you're favored in that, Poppy. So it's now ill-favored. So it's a, that means it is not ill-favored. It's just a straight roll, no 2d12s, with only 1 stealth die.
I'm gonna try it. Why not?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, did you? It's no Eye of Sauron, right? Okay, you guys watch as Poppy just keeps like kind of going like, like throwing her hand forward, but he keeps waving it around and no opportunity is forthcoming for her to grab it. But he's going to go ahead and roll his awareness.
I wish there was a way to distract him.
Oh dear. Oh wait. No, it's a fail.
Okay.
So he does not notice that Poppy was trying to take the dagger from him. Now weighted down with these golden circlets and medallions and necklaces, he begins to exit the complex.
Cousin Yolen, you know we're not going to let you leave here with all of those treasures that belong to our ancestors, the very items they fought and lost their lives for. I'll tell your mother.
You would stop me from returning glory to the halls of Harmelt? You, a daughter of Harmelt? You would stop us from returning to our former glory?
At this, Orda stops herself. Because of course she would love to see our people, our ancestry, what we are, returned to it the glory that it deserves, but why would Yolen be the one chosen to do that task?
Yolen
and why alone?
Yolen sidles up very close to Ona and says, Ona, these others will try to take it from us. They will plunder our people. We must keep it to safeguard it.
She gives a side eye to Hanar.
We cannot trust a daughter of man. Their grasping
Looks over at
fingers
Poppy.
never stop pulling wealth toward them.
I noticed that Poppy's duffel bag is quite full.
It's heavy.
Yes. She seemed a bit loaded down for the last several days.
Heavy with treasure that we will take back at the right opportunity. Help me, Ona. Help me. We are of the halls of Harmelt.
We are, but
We are blood. We are kin.
I am following the orders of Balin, son of Fundin. Funyan?
You got it.
Fundin.
Funyun.
Yeah.
Funyun. Son of Funyun.
That's where Funyuns came from, actually. Yeah, it was a
It is,
Tolkien.
that's right.
Tolkien made up Funyuns.
Yeah, he invented golf and Funyuns.
Fundin. I will not go rogue. I have my orders, and my orders are my orders, and they have nothing to do with you going off on your own. Now hand over, and hand those jewels, and hand our family coat, and Hanar and I will make sure they get to their rightful place. You, I don't know what we're going to do with you. I will tell your mother, though.
Another traitor. Perhaps you are descended from Nye,
I am not.
Oathbreaker. Traitor to the halls of Harmelt. You shall touch nothing that I have recovered from Moria. None of you! And he runs off into the dark as fast as he can.
Oh my god.
Dang it.
I
How
go
fast
chasing
are we?
after him. He can't run that fast. He's loaded down with like tons of
Oh, he is? Is he loaded?
He is.
He's loaded.
Who's chasing him?
running after him. Me.
Okay,
He's
Hanar,
fast.
give me an athletics roll.
Athletics. All right. I got a 20 and a 6.
Oh, you tackle Hyolen. And he starts wrestling with you on the ground, and he has that dagger in his hand. And now it's time for a fight.
Okay.
The rest of you are not there. It's just Hanar and Hyolen right now. And both of you, because you're wrestling on the ground, are in forward position, which means you get +1 die to attack, but the other person gets +1 die against you, okay? And
Okay.
you go first. You better end this
Okay.
quickly, or you're going to get stabbed. Hanar.
Okay. All right, and so I'm unarmed, right? So how does this resolve?
Yeah,
without
and
weapons?
when you do an unarmed attack in the One Ring, if I'm not mistaken, actually I can look this up. You roll your lowest combat proficiency, and you can only do 1 damage.
Okay.
And there is no injury rating. You cannot wound with an unarmed attack.
Okay. Okay. Then I am going to. I'm just going to start like punching it. This is so cool, by the way, because we played this once before. Alicia and I played in a game, and I think it was the same sort of scenario that Harli played also, where it's just like hobbits.
Yes.
So. Yeah, so it's like there wasn't any real combat. We were like throwing apples and stuff, but there was no like actual. Because this is the first time like actually getting to fight in this game.
This one.
Yeah.
That was a hobbit. I played a hobbit.
That is a fail. That is a 9 under 12.
You are not able to get him under control, and that is when his dagger comes up to your throat.
Okay.
Here we go. Let me find his stats really quickly. Here he is. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. So, in this case, he has to hit your parry rating. What is your parry rating, Hanar?
My parry.
It would be under your wits, that little diamond to the lower right.
It is 14.
Okay, he must hit a 14 with the dagger right now. He rolled 2 6s.
Oh no!
And a 2.
Okay.
How much? What was the parry rating again? 14.
14. So he just hit it.
He hit it.
Got a spectacular success too.
He did. He's gonna not only he's gonna do a heavy blow on you twice, meaning he gets to add his strength to the blow. So he does the normal damage for a dagger, which let me double check, but I think it's 2. Yep, he does the normal damage for a dagger. Then he does his strength several times over, and that is going to be 2 each time. So he does a total of 6 endurance points of damage to you altogether. But he does not wound you.
Okay.
And now I'm going to rule that if the other members of the company would like to arrive on the scene, they may. So,
yes, we're there.
Again,
please arrive on the scene.
Again, choosing your combat position in this case is less important than when you are in a regimented combat against a number of foes. It really will just determine the order in which you go and whether you can fire something at him, right? So right now, our friend Hanar must be in forward. Would anybody else like to be in forward?
Can I ask if we get open volley or no?
No opening volley in this case.
Okay. I'll be, of course, in forward.
Okay.
She's running.
So, a completely new round, and Hanar and then Ona can act. Hanar, would you like to try another brawl attack against him?
Yeah. Oh, that's another fail.
Another fail. Ona, it's your turn. What are you going to do?
If I've been able to make it to him in time, I mean, you have to imagine this 4'4" dwarf. She's like built. She's short, 4'4", stocky, built like like a field hockey player, and she's gonna take the broadside of her axe, the broadside, and literally just bring it across the back of his head.
So you're attacking not to kill, and that is a choice you always have. And you may go ahead and roll your axe proficiency, but because you are not just using the blade, I need you to take 1 die off in this attack. But you're in forward, so you get +1 die, so it's unmodified.
It makes even. All right, so with my axe, I get 3 dice. Since I'm using, I only get 1 feat dice. Let's see, let me see. I'm trying to see if am I dour-handed so I can add +1 or no?
Let me take a look. Let's see. Dour-handed says no. Basically, the way dour-handed works is if you roll a 6, you can do a heavy blow, which adds damage based on your strength. And because you were dour-handed, you add 1 to that in addition. Okay. Also, if you roll like say a 9 or something like that, you can. If you roll a 6 and you want to add to the feat die to maybe score a wound, you can do that. That's what dour-handed means. But right now, you're just rolling your 3 dice for your axe plus the feat die.
Got it. Let's see, 10 on my feat dice,
Ah,
3,
a possible wound.
2,
awesome.
4.
That's a wound.
That's a wound.
Oh.
He's going to roll his armor rating versus your weapons injury rating. Your weapons injury rating I see is an 18.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Yeah, it is pretty high, and I can tell you that Hyolan is a scholar, and he is not wearing a lot of armor.
Nice.
Oops. I
And
didn't want to pull a
he
satyr.
fails
Wait, what's
to
your
meet
name
your
again?
injury rating. He is smashed by the flat part of your axe, and he is injured. He has a bad head injury right now, and he is knocked unconscious.
Eat that, Professor. Great. Okay. So,
This has created a lot of noise.
Drums in the teeth.
They are coming.
We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we will play more of the One Ring, this dark journey into Moria. Our heroes' very souls are at stake. Free Leagues, the One Ring, Moria through the Doors of Durin. Go and buy it. All right, we'll be right back. Oh, hey there. I was just having my coffee and preparing for the final act of our Lord of the Rings, The One Ring by Free League playthrough of their new source book, Moria Through the Doors of Durin. Go check it out. There's a link in the description to kind of check it out. Our company made their way all the way into the center of the mountain. They have now captured Hyolan, the dwarf that they were sought to rescue, but it appears that he has the dragon sickness upon him. And so now, what is left to do? What is your next step, company of adventurers?
I think we just have to leave. The problem is that he seemed to know a reliable way out, and he is now unconscious.
Gotta tie him
So
up.
we definitely have to tie him up. And then I guess we just start backtracking the way we came. Unless we can, at this point, try to figure out a better way to get back.
Would someone like to try to do that?
Can I look at my maps that I have, my detailed maps, and do a travel roll?
Yes, you may.
Or
Yeah.
no, okay.
The maps help with explore. You would have to use explore.
Okay.
Who has
Then
the best
can I do
explorer?
travel instead?
You can do travel instead, but let me see. Yeah,
But I wouldn't get the
you wouldn't get the
benefit of
bonus
that.
from the item. Yep, that's right.
Okay. Okay. That is a 17 over 13.
Very good. Your only clue, your only idea, Hanar, son of Onar, is that Moria isn't just built, horizontally through the mountain. It's built up and down. And you know that in some of the upper galleries and upper levels, light shines in from outside the mountain. And it's possible that you could find one of those skylights into the mountain and climb out. And you would be very high up on the mountain, but it's possible you could maybe find something like that if you exited the Great West Cave and then started trying to climb stairs up to a higher place in the mountain.
Okay. Yeah, I suggest that.
This is like, if we can get back into daylight, at least we'd be safe from the orcs.
Yep.
Be free from
All right,
pursuit. We'd have a longer
we
journey
leave?
overland ahead of us. We'd have to get down the mountain, but at least we'd be free of the orcs.
Should we leave Yolan's body here? Or should we carry him with us?
I'll carry him.
And I heave him up over my shoulder.
Very good.
He's-
If
Fire
you are
dwarf carry.
carrying him, I think that a good measure of carrying a full dwarf would be the thing with the heaviest load in the game.
Okay.
And that would have to be a coat of mail with a load of 12.
Okay. All right. So that would put me at, I would be weary.
But my friend dwarf, if we go to the heroic the heroic cultures of Middle-earth, and we look up the dwarves of Durin's folk, we see that their cultural blessing.
We're redoubtable.
You have the load rating of any armor you're wearing, including helms.
Right.
I'm going to, in this case, you're saving a fellow dwarf, even one who has been corrupted. I'm going to say he counts as armor in this particular case, and you may only carry 6.
Okay,
Yay.
so that I'm still, even with my injuries, I'm still under the limit there. So yeah, so I heave him up over my shoulder, and it's just like,
All right, let us ascend through the mountain.
Now you are heading up instead of through. You're heading upward. And so, now in the One Ring, it recommends that once the heroes have gone on a journey and then have arrived at an adventuring site and gone through the adventure, that they can then maybe return home without another journey phase, right? But you're in Moria. You're not out in the fields of Eriador. You're certainly not in the Shire, okay?
we're not home free.
You're not home free by any stretch of the
We're at the
imagination.
market.
Therefore,
No.
I'm going to require yet another journey phase. This means that you can
Okay.
get way more fatigue, but I think taking you to the limits of your endurance is what a journey to Moria should do. So, Captain Hanar, son of Onar, the guide to this company, please give me a travel roll to see how it goes
Okay.
heading up out of here.
Favorite roll for me. Oh wow. Okay, I got 14, 19, 22, and I got a 6.
Ah,
Wow.
very good. With that success, there will be less events along the company's path as they head up. And so, over the course of a day and a night and another day and a night, you climb up the first level, then the second level of Moria's 7 levels. And then when you reach the third level, an event occurs.
Now, do I get my injury endurance back because we rested during that time?
Yes, thank you. You've very likely had a 8-hour rest or 6-hour or whatever. During that time, you may retrieve the endurance that you lost. But you have not gotten rid of the fatigue. I want to make that clear. If you have fatigue, you still have it. And load still counts as load, okay? It is during these days and nights that Hyolan revives. I assume, using what we call common sense, that you guys have restrained him.
Yes, with the rope
Yes,
that we had.
we did.
We took all of his weapon. We took his
You
stuff.
took his dagger?
We took his stuff, but Poppy didn't take it. We took it.
Oh.
Did anyone take the
Damn it,
dagger?
I wanted to take the dagger.
You can take the dagger.
Can
Do you
I
want to? You
please?
can take the
It is a dwarven relic.
Please.
You.
Hobbits are very uncorruptible, I'm just saying.
Well, you know what? Actually, I say that, but I think that Hanar would be loath to let the dagger be carried by a non-dwarf, especially one who's a treasure hunter. I think that he would feel that like the knife should stay within the possession of a dwarf.
That's fair.
So you could try to sneak it away. You could try to
Maybe
steal
I
it.
will.
Maybe you will.
How does this
Maybe I'll catch
conversation
you.
go? I think that it happens. It happens maybe not even on the first day, but it happens on the second or third day when Hyolan awakens and says, "Who has my dagger? Who has taken it from me?"
Take a guess.
And then all of you start to discuss who should carry the dagger. And while you're all discussing this, I want a wisdom test versus greed.
Oh boy.
Okay. So that's a wits? Is that just a wits?
Yes, you're a
check?
1d6 for your
All of
wisdom.
us?
Yes, everybody. 1d6 for your wisdom, 1d12, because you always roll the d12, and then you're trying to hit your wits.
Man, it's tough.
Oh. Yeah, wisdom's only.
I get it.
is low.
15 over 14.
Very good.
Woo!
It says my current wisdom is 1.
That's right.
Then
This
you
way
get
you
one.
roll a 1d6 plus a feat die, and you try to meet your
Got it,
wits
and that's it.
target number.
Got it. I did not make it.
Me neither.
I got a
I also
4.
did not make it.
All of
Nope.
you that failed gain 1 point of shadow, and you want that dagger.
Look at that.
But Hanar, son of Onar, the only person that succeeded in his test, is the one who's currently carrying it.
Okay.
With dude, right? With Yolan.
Yes, and
Well, you were
Hjol, and he's
carrying
also
Yolan.
carrying
Yeah.
Hjolan.
I can't carry the dagger, but I can carry you.
Yeah, so I'm going to. I say it's like,
I will carry this for safekeeping as an heirloom of my people. I can see the sickness in each of your eyes. What has happened to him? It threatens to overtake all of you, the shadow. I will carry it. We will keep it safe for now.
and I tuck it like into my belt. And yeah, so that's my intention, is to keep it safe from the party.
Great.
Yeah. Right.
Poppy, yes?
Could I use Riddle to potentially figure out a way to get him to give it to
To trick me into giving
it's
you the dagger.
PvP time. So the way I'd like to
boy.
handle PvP in the One Ring is that you can certainly roll, you can certainly see if it's a success, but ultimately I don't want to force other players to do things like they're being mind controlled or something. So why don't we roll, see how it goes, and then let Skid, the player of Hanar, interpret that as he'd like.
Okay. Maybe you challenge me. You could actually challenge me to a contest of riddles, which I would be. I would be almost forced to kind of take you up on that.
Okay.
And if you
Could
win,
use my weathered traveling journal that adds Riddle.
Certainly, you have recorded many riddles and mystery in your weathered travel journal. Have you challenged Hanar to a contest of riddles? Well, let me hear you challenge him then.
Oh no.
I challenge you to a contest of riddles for the dagger. Right now.
and he's just like, my one weakness. All right.
And then
Bad dad jokes.
let me hear your riddle. Since you're the challenger, you must go first. Poppy Pickthorn, let me hear your riddle. But listen, I'll give you plus dice if it's great, but I won't give you any negative dice if it's bad, because it's hard to come up with riddles off the top of your head. But if it's great, I'll give you plus dice. Are you Googling riddles right now?
Oh my god. Awful.
No. The only reason I said that is because that's what I would be doing.
no.
Awful.
I literally only know one riddle off the top of my head.
Well, here it goes.
Okay,
Let's
what
hear
is
it.
it?
And if it's great,
Right.
you get a plus die.
But it's harder than diamonds, higher than the sky. Dead people eat it, but if you eat it, you die.
That's a fantastic riddle. Add a plus one die, then plus one for your journal, and then your feat die and anything you have in riddle, and roll.
Got 1 6.
Okay.
20 over
That's
12.
That's really good. That's really good. And there's a 6 there. Hanar, it's your turn.
Okay. 12 white horses
Upon a red hill. First they stamp, then they champ, then they stand still.
Fantastic. That's worth an extra die as well.
Do you know the answer to that one?
19 over 14,
Okay.
but no sixes.
But no 6s. So let's do this. Do you know the answer to Poppy Pickthorn's riddle?
I think the answer to Poppy Pickthorn's riddle is nothing.
That's right. And Poppy, do you know the answer to Hanar's riddle?
Teeth.
Teeth. I'm going to say I was going to give you an advantage if one of you knew it and the other didn't. But I can't do that now because you both knew it. So therefore, it goes.
Poppy wins.
Poppy wins. Yep.
Yeah.
She has the knife, the dagger.
And that is the new riddle system we've added to the game. Impressive.
Yeah, wow. Awesome.
You're welcome, Free League. So he hands over the dagger, and it's just like, keep it well.
Keep it very safe.
And I'm like, man, I can't believe. Whew. Okay. All right.
All right. And the first event that happens as you climb toward the roof of the Moria complex happens to our Delver.
Oh, that would be me.
That would be Ona again. And
Yes.
Ona, here is the event. Ona, that is for another mishap.
Uh-oh.
And let me describe the mishap. In this particular case, let's see here. All right. In this particular case, you are going to realize that as the Delver, you told them to take a certain set of stairs to go up to the next level. But when you get there, you're not certain that you're on the next level. You might be on a level between the levels, or maybe you're a level higher than you thought you were, which is good. But then there's another set of stairs, and you're not sure if that set of stairs is going to take you where you want to go or into a complex that is sort of apart from the main level. In other words, Ona, you're in danger of getting lost. So I need a craft roll from you. And if you get lost, it means that you guys spend a lot more time trying to climb up out of here, maybe days of time.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh man.
My Poppy. I believe the shadow sickness.
Place.
I believe the shadow sickness has gotten to me. I can't tell which is right and which is up and which is down. I apologize.
It's all right. It happens to the best of us.
Okay, this is a 7. I'll take that. Oh, 2 6s, 7 on my feet die, and a 4.
Oh, that's a huge success.
Way over.
2
yeah.
6s, 7
2
on your feet
6s,
die, and a
yeah.
4. Listen to me. 2 6s, no one even takes any fatigue. You
Nice.
You think up is up. Let's keep climbing, and you actually move with alacrity up toward what you think would be the place where there might be openings into the mountain. The entire time, Hanar, Hyolan is whispering to you.
Oh no.
All I have to do is shout. All I have to do is cry out. And we all die. We will never leave this place. Release me and give me the dagger.
And I say to him in Kuzdul, like I spit it at him and just like,
Do not make me gag you, now Grim. I will not hesitate to kill you and leave you here for the goblins to pick apart for their feasts.
Does he believe your threat? Give me a skill roll.
okay.
Oh my god.
What is a good skill to roll for that? Aw?
I think that's great.
Aw?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell.
What? I mean, there's no way for us to help either because we don't know what's
13
happening.
over 12.
There you go. He is silent and brooding for a while. He believes your threat. And so as you continue to climb, our next event happens to our lookout again.
Oh,
Oh, boy. Look
all
out.
right.
And
Look out!
this time,
It's so funny to me.
this time, okay. So this time, you are looking around and you see something in the darkness, just in the barest light of the lantern, that catches your eye. There's something kind of that doesn't look like a box or a piece of stone, kind of like in the shadow. It casts a shadow for a second before Hanar moves on with the lantern. You've spied something. It wasn't moving. It didn't look alive. You're not sure what it is.
Okay. Do I need to roll or?
You don't need to roll. You saw it. So I would like for you to do what you'd like with it, including ignore it if you'd like, before we resolve the event.
I would like to sneak towards it.
Very good. Give me a stealth roll.
Got it. 14.
Very good.
Nice.
Oh no, sorry. Better than that. 17.
Very good.
Over a 14.
As long as you hit the target number, that is all that matters in the One Ring. Having numbers above the target number, as long as you meet or beat it, you have succeeded. So you arrive at the object. It looked like maybe it was like a bundle of firewood, but as you get closer, you realize that it is in fact a skeleton.
Ooh.
A skeleton of small size.
This is no mine.
And
Tomb.
Sadok, hanging from the skeleton's mouth is some sort of object.
What is it? I take a look.
It's a pipe.
So would this is this a hobbit skeleton or a dwarf skeleton?
Sadok, there are other skeletons nearby.
Oh no.
It's Gandalf.
Well, they said it was of small stature, he said.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They shrunk him and killed him
But
in the
I
past.
I wave my companions over at this point.
There are 3 other skeletons.
They love pipes.
I mean, dwarves also smoke, but
They do.
do I think
Love
they're halfling skeletons?
That'd be
or-
really weird.
Sadok,
Dwarf
That'd be exceptionally
skeleton.
weird.
Sadok, you're unsure. It's a dwarf. Surely it's a dwarf. As Hanar says, it's impossible that it would be anybody else, except that one of the skeletons is not a dwarf. It's quite tall. And beside it are the remains of a long-hafted axe.
A long-hafted axe.
You guys look over and Poppy Pickthorn has been holding the whole time an axe with a very long handle that she can use two-handed.
Where did you get that? We never asked you.
No, it's mine. I actually didn't steal this from anybody. But I think that's a human.
The skeleton beside that is definitely a dwarf. Unmistakably a dwarf. There's no way it could be anything else. There's an empty bottle beside it, laying on the ground.
How old are these skeletons?
15 years, 100 years. They're coated in dust and grit.
We should go.
Oda, there's another skeleton
Yes.
here. Definitely a dwarf. Unmistakably a dwarf. The frayed, withered, and rotting remains of a rope attached to a long iron hook that it was carrying on it.
I know what this is.
This is us.
Stay here.
Everybody, you're in danger.
no.
You're in danger unless our lookout can make his awareness roll.
Oh, look out, please.
Oh no.
Okay.
This is some
no.
lost shit.
Yes. Okay.
I know. Did we like travel through time? What the hell's
Yeah,
going
this
on?
is like some
All right.
J.J. Abrams nonsense. They put an end to this right now.
It's a mystery box.
Yeah.
All right.
It is.
Hold on, I'll just...
Perhaps I laid it on a little thick.
One of them screams was a murder.
I do have something to say, though.
What do you have to say?
You shall not pass!
There you go.
Yes.
I got a Gandalf.
All right.
Good timing.
And some cat.
Everybody takes 2 fatigue,
Uh-oh.
but
Ouch.
you but you do not fall into despair at seeing this strange and inexplicable grave here in the halls of Durin.
But that is like more, it messes with your mind in this way.
Yeah.
This is exactly the kind of thing that can happen to you down here. It's like, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a haunted place. A place of ill omen. And so you continue to climb, and because of your guide's successful roll and traveling, you encounter no more strange occurrences. And finally you come into a wide open upper gallery where there is shadow and light. For falling from great skylights high above you, the light of the sun shines down into the halls of Durin. There's only one problem.
What?
It's 100 feet above you.
Oh.
Oh, well.
Oh, but
Poppy,
But
you're
somebody
have
100
a
feet
grappling
tall.
hook.
No. Grappling hook. Somebody has a grappling hook, right?
Oh,
I
if
do.
only someone
Throw-
had a grappling hook.
If only we had a oh, wait! I have a grappling. I knew I brought this with me for a reason. That and the beef jerky. Really kept us together this whole time. All right.
All right.
guess
That's
we're
like,
going
that's so
through
far though. I don't even think that would,
So-
like we could do it even with the grappling. That's 100 feet. Like,
Here's
that's
the deal.
Yeah, how long is
Because of the architecture, it may be possible to plot a route onto various, sort of outcroppings of rock that have been carved into various oblong shapes and ledges. Of course, the grappling hook doesn't lead all the way up to the skylight.
Yeah.
It can only go, like 50 feet up to like halfway, and then each person that tries to escape will have to make an athletics roll.
Okay.
But before we do that, because you are at the end of your journey, everybody can make a travel roll and see if they can get rid of some of this fatigue.
Yeah, that would help. That would really help.
I'll try. So close.
Let's see, come on.
I got
Oh.
a 20 and I got a 6.
Okay, then you take, I added 2 fatigue during this last leg of the journey. You take none of it. It's gone.
Awesome.
How'd you do, Oda?
17 over 15.
Okay, so that's a success. Take away 1 point of fatigue. Okay, so this is the last obstacle separating you from the outer world. And also, how shall you lift Hyolan up and out of here?
Oh,
That's a great question.
They're coming for you. I can hear them. You hear them back there in the dark?
Quiet, tomb robot.
You have not been cautious enough, Hanar. You will never escape this place.
He half believes him. You know what? I'm gonna actually like try to, when I go up, I'm gonna carry him with me. I'm gonna try to carry him out with me.
Okay, very good.
I would like to take my handkerchief and stuff it in his mouth.
Right.
You do so. That has been done. And
Good.
so we are going to try to get out of here. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to set a skill endeavor for you. Okay? First, I'm going to set the number of successes you must get working together, meaning you can take turns rolling, right? And then I'm going to set the time limit. That's the number of rolls you're going to get. And then I'm going to tell you what you need to roll, what skills you need to roll. So I'm going to say the resistance here is going to be 4 successes.
Okay.
All right. And 6s count as extra successes. And you're only going to get 6 rolls to get 4 successes. That's to get everybody up and out of here. Okay?
Okay.
You may use craft athletics, explore, travel, or anything else you can make a case for. So, let me know who would like to go first. For example, a good first roll would be using craft to plot a route up the wall to the skylight, or just using athletics to throw the rope up there.
I'm definitely going to do crafts.
Yeah, and I'd like to do travel. I think I'm going to do travel. I'm going to arrange all of our gear in a way such as that it will hinder us the least as we try to climb out of here. Like go over everyone's pack and like get everything like situated so that we have the easiest time getting out of here.
Very good. So, you go ahead and roll craft my Delver Oda, and you roll travel. And these are remember you get 6 tries to roll 4 successes here.
Okay, and I'm going to use hope. I'm going to use a point of hope for this.
That's a good idea.
Okay. I did get an Eye of Sauron, but since I'm favored, I can discard that.
Okay.
I got a.
I also got an
20.
Eye of Sauron.
Okay, so you succeeded. So we've used 2 of our tries. We got 1 success. And you got an Eye of Sauron. Alicia, did Oda still succeed?
Yes, I did. I got 2. I also got 2 6s, and I'm favored in craft.
Ah, okay. So out of our 6 attempts, we have 2 successes already, and we only need 4. However, I'm going to tell you, I know those Eye of Sauron didn't stop you, but I'm going to tell you that as you are preparing the gear, and as you are plotting the route up this wall, far behind you, somewhere in the depths, you hear boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yes.
Yep.
All right. You only have 4 more attempts left. So now I need someone to. What's the next step?
Explore?
Explore sounds right. What are you using Explore to do?
Find the easiest path up for a human?
Our friend the Delver already did that. Perhaps there is a different. This is just to kind of describe our actions and make them exciting narratively. So if that's how you want to describe it, that's fine, honestly. But if you have another idea, I'd be willing to hear it. Sometimes these ideas get you +1 die, you know?
Yeah, I think Sadok actually had an idea, so give me time to think.
Yes, I would like to use awareness to, once I see the path that is plotted, to make sure that the footholds are secure, that they're not slick, that there's not water dripping down from out of the caverns, that there's not a soft piece of rock that will give way. Things like that.
For example, what a cool idea, +1 die.
Awesome.
Hey,
Okay, cool.
Good idea.
Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Drums in the deep, Sadok.
Drums.
I did make it, and I got a 6 as well.
Nice.
Sadok, way high up. One of the footholds that you would use is right near the skylight, and it is dripping with ice and water because undoubtedly the mountain above is covered in snow, right? So you need to be very, very careful there. Your keen hobbit eyes spied that. Very well done. That's another success. You only need 1 more success. You have 3 more attempts. Who will go next? Poppy,
Save us,
Pickthorn.
Poppy.
You gotta do something, Poppy.
Poppy!
I'm trying to think. That was actually going to be my idea. I was like, check the footholds. Explore. It's kind of a silly idea. What if I use Enhearten?
Why not?
Encourage everybody.
I don't think
Yeah,
that's
that's a great
silly
idea.
at all. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
really
you're
good
going
idea.
to just kind of coach them that they can get out, that there's still time, that you're going to be okay. Even as you say this, you hear footfalls far down the hallway.
Oh.
And I'm using a hope.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Oh, I got 1 6. Okay, 13. Yeah, that's
Did you make
20
it?
over
Oh, amazing.
12. So,
4 successes. You have completed the skill endeavor. Soon you are all high up in the gallery's wall, and you can feel the cold air coming from the mountain above. You can feel it on your face, the sunlight on your face, and far below you, filling the gallery, being careful to stay in the shadows between the big square patches of sunlight. You see many crawling figures with red and yellow eyes, and you hear their mutterings and their cries and their calls, and you hear them calling out to you, "Come back, come dally with us, come play in the halls of Moria." As they call to you and taunt you, and it is with horror.
We will take you.
As your hand grabs the ledge of the skylight, my friend Hanar, you feel Hyolan coming loose against you. He has been tugging at his ropes. He is trying to get loose, and he's shouting, "I cannot leave these halls! I must retake them for my people!" He is going to come loose. He is going to break your grip unless you do something, Hanar.
Paul, can I do an enhearten roll to try to convince him not to do this?
Yes, but he is so
Okay.
clouded by shadow now that enhearten roll
Disfavored?
will be ill-favored.
Okay, so I'm normally favored for this.
Okay, so now it's a base
just do the
roll.
one die. Okay. Fail.
He pulls free of the ropes that are holding him. For a second, your eyes lock. Madness in his eyes. My home! My inheritance! Khazad-dûm! As he falls down into the shadows, and you don't even hear him hit. As he reaches the ground, he's immediately grabbed, smothered, and taken by the things that wait below.
Dwarodelf claims another.
You climb out into the snow. You look down off of the mountain, down into Eriador. Far below you, green rolling hills. You can see the Cyrenon, the gate stream, and more rivers and things far beyond you. You still have many leagues left to travel to return to Tharbad. Somehow, you make it. 2 more weeks down off of the mountain and back to the city. You arrive dirty, weak, almost unable to walk, stumbling through the gates of Tharbad. You hardly remember Balin and his people coming to you on the street, taking you to a place of refuge, a place with a warm hearth and good food. And after some time with your patron and his helpers, you feel some of your strength return. Balin says to you when you are laying in bed, yes, there's a room with 4 beds and you're all laying in bed. Just like when Frodo's in the bed, but there's 4 of you in different beds.
Oh yeah, does Balin come like jumping on the bed with us?
Ho, ho, ho.
He does not jump on the bed. He's too old for that.
Get off my bed! What are you doing?
Not jumping on your bed. But he comes into this sort of barracks where he's deposited all of you and where you are regaining your strength. And he says, "What of Hyolen? What fate befell him?"
He
Befell him indeed.
Yes. He fell.
Yes.
The mountain took him.
We tried.
Dragon sickness, stolen over his soul, shadow. He could not leave, and thus he did not.
It is a great doom that awaits many of our people. I pray that it never cast its shadow upon me. And what of Tharnal, his captor?
Let Sadok take this one.
We didn't.
Well,
The mountain also took him. Unfortunately, everybody
yes.
died.
That's true. The mountain took him as
Right.
well.
Nothing we could have done.
Nope. Unfortunately,
Not a
everybody was
thing.
taken by the mountain. We barely escaped with our lives, really.
Right. We're not on trial here.
We tried.
And what?
What's with the third degree?
And what of this? And he pulls the dagger. He pulls the dagger. Because you've all been, like, recuperating.
Hey, that's mine. I won it fair and
Get
square.
at it.
in a riddle contest.
Is it true? Does this belong to a daughter of Bree, Hanar?
Yeah. She got a riddle I'd never heard before, and what could I do?
He walks up to Poppy Pickthorn. He lays it on her bed and says, "Take your plunder and be gone from this place."
Oh man.
Oh.
Right, bye.
Wow. Are you? Wait,
Darken the door of Balin no more!
No, please don't forsake us. We tried.
Poppy, perhaps you could maybe trade the dagger for
Did you want it
equivalent?
back? Would that be fair if I gave it back?
We'd love to have the dagger back. It is an heirloom of our people that's precious to us. Precious, I say.
Right, fine.
No, it's up to you, Poppy. I'm not forcing you to do anything. What?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will
you
give
can
it
get
back.
jewels in equivalency.
I have an important question. Did he find all the other stuff I found
Oh, yes.
in the mart?
Oh, yes.
He took everything. Okay. I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going
Hannah.
to say, I'll give Poppy the money that I borrowed from Balin before we left.
No, I
give
don't
that
want
to her.
money. I want treasure. So I suppose I'll have
treasure.
to go on
You can buy
another
so much treasure
adventure,
with this
but I
money.
will give it back because I would hate to offend the great Balin.
Awesome.
He
That
takes the
Patreon
dagger
roll.
and says, "You choose well this day. My people will remember you. Will we not, Oda? Hanar."
And Oda would like to finger the ring in her pocket. Of course.
Oh.
I'll always remember you.
I sent you to rescue one of our kind,
That you did.
but I am merely heartened that you were able to rescue yourselves. I shall take Tharnal's signet ring to Gurnal, captain of the Haven, and tell him what fate befell him, and warn others never to go into Moria, or threat of the darkness that dwells there. And now, each of you may narrate an epilogue for your character. This epilogue could happen 1 minute after what I've just described, or years later. It is up to you. And let us begin with the character who was just at question, who was just in a scene, Poppy Pickthorn. What is the epilogue you'd like to give your character?
Well, Poppy Pickthorn, I think, cannot get the minds of Moria out of her head. I think that she will return
Oh,
to explore and ultimately be lost.
Yes. So let our last image of Poppy be her standing before the Doors of Durin as they shine with moonlight and open before her. And she steps into shadow and is gone. Oda of Harmelt, what is your epilogue?
I was going to say wait on me because of the noise, but it just went down. So I can say,
I can hear you, Oda.
Okay, so you see Oda standing in front of a large door, and she's knocking. The door is answered by an older dwarf. She takes the woman by the hand and says, I have to tell you about your son.
Oh.
And she leads him into the house. Do you have a spot of tea on?
She's delivering the news to Hyolin's mother?
Hyolin's mom.
Yes. Yes, she is. But she would also
She said
like
she'd
to...
do it.
Did I wasn't lying.
Very good. And as she says these things, the ring in her pocket beckons her to put it on.
She slips it on her middle finger as she's telling a complete lie to Yolin's mother about how Yolin fell from a tree without any clothes on, and we caught him.
She slips it on.
Wait, what?
She slips it on. And she is no longer Oda. She is Ni,
Oh.
the lady of West Moria, the queen of those tunnels. And she tells Hyolin's mother that it's time to gather the dwarves to retake Moria. Sadak,
My eyes
what is your
shine
epilogue?
Sadak returns happily home to the Shire, but on his way back to Crick Hollow, he makes a slight detour and stops in Longbottom and buys as much Longbottom leaf as he can possibly carry to then distribute among the hobbits all over the Shire, and then is elected mayor of the Shire.
Oh, wow, really?
Wow.
And is happy to the end of his days, right before Bilbo's 111th birthday, and he passes away peacefully.
Wow. So he was probably invited to the birthday party, but he died right before it happened.
Yep. Well, I think that that's absolutely fantastic, and we had a happy ending. At least one happy ending.
I didn't get one.
Oh, it's your turn now. Hanar, son of Hanar.
Okay, so Hanar he tries to go back to like Erebor. He's just like, he was sort of dishonored by like losing the dagger like in the first place to a woman of Bree, and so he tries to like go back to Erebor and like make a life for himself there, but he also like he can't shake the idea of Moria, so he eventually comes back and he joins Balin on his expedition to retake Moria, and he perishes in the chamber of Mazarbul at Balin's side.
Incredible. One of the many dwarves who fell in the chamber of Mazarbul 20 years hence. And that is the story we have told today. That is the One Ring, the new source book, Moria Through the Doors of Durin. Available now. Go check it out. Get yourself a core book as well. It's from Free League Publishing. I want to thank
So good.
my incredible players, Skid, Maher, Alicia Marie, Jason Charles Miller, and Harli Kane. Thank you guys so very much for making this so fun and incredible. What a blast. So that's our show. I have to get on this host sheet and just say one more last thing here. Yes, here we go. Dragonbane is up next. Tomorrow, Deathmatch Allen Part 2, A Life Well Lived, and interviews with Marvel, Chaosium, and Renegade Games. So stay tuned to the Glass Cannon Network, and I'll see you in Middle-earth. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Jared Logan.
Jared.
Thank you.